Your Chair? Yeah. The witnesses understand are qualified.
Thank you. Thank you. You go ahead with, I want to say you are welcome. You can go ahead with the self-introduction so we can proceed forward again.
My name is Salif Ivanhoe, Minister of Transport.
My name is Graham S. Khan, the Deputy Minister for Operations, Minister of Maritime Energy.
My name is Melvin Sharif. I'm the Executive Director of the National Investment Commission.
Councillor Charles B.F. Kambo II, Deputy Minister for Economic Affairs, Minister of Justice.
Okay. Colleagues, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Alexander Tyler. I represent Bowman County, and I'm chairman of the Committee on Commerce and member of the Joint Committee.
I work for Chair Committee on Public Works, member of the Joint
Boy.
Senator Boy, Bone County.
And I'm Senator Simeon Bomatero from Grand Cape County, member of this committee.
Thank you, colleagues. I'm Senator Sam Joseph, Senator of Moscow County, and Chairman of the Joint Committee. Minister of Finance. Before your introduction, the last time we took a decision based on the action of the minister. You have a communication today?
I will choose to speak to you in private.
Can I, because the minister spoke to me, as it stands, he's working on the $24 million agreement with EU to come this December. They are on the paperwork of that. He came here at 12 with me today, but the hearing was pushed further. And due to his busy schedule, he asked that I beg the appeal to you, Honorable Chair, and members of this joint committee to allow his technical team represent him here fully. Believe that they have all of the knowledge and expertise to do just that. Thank you.
And now try to make a decision.
Yes.
For further information,
Yes. So the committee will note what you stated. He said the same thing. We'll move forward because you guys were here at 12 o'clock. So on that basis, I think there's a need, colleagues, that we should move forward.
I think so.
So we can go on that. You can now make it, introduce yourself, and then you replace a number.
My name is Andrew Negro. I'm the Assistant Minister for Revenue and Tax Policy.
The finance and development plan.
You raise your right hand. If I say I, you call your name, you call before you. I,
Andrew M. Golo, Assistant Minister for Revenue and Tax Policy, Minister of Finance and Development Planning,
do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
and to my recollection
and to my recollection
is the truth
is the truth
and nothing more than truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, before going forward, as other senators come, we'll give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. We have our senator that just came in from the Bureau. Senator, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Stephen Smith from Bureau.
She came with you, right?
She wants you to check.
You go check.
You know, doing two things at the same time.
Okay. So yeah, Minister, you now have the stand. You have a written statement.
Yes, I presented that last time.
Okay. We thought you have something new to give us.
No, it's just
Okay, so we can proceed further.
So, Honorable Chair, Honorable Co-Chair, members of this esteemed committee on the Ivanhoe concession. I'm honored and pleasure today to just run you through this agreement. I will be looking at just the overview of the rail in the country, the Ivanhoe agreement, the purpose of the concession, the economic benefits, the workforce and employment projections, and all the information as necessary. Real activities in Liberia started in the early 60s. So the Lamco Rail was done in 1963, completed in 1964, and it's about 267 kilometers from Yekepa to Buchanan. That is what this agreement is about. It's about the access of that rail. We have the Bongma Rail that started in 1963, completed in 1964. It's about 78 kilometers, and that road is from Bong Mines to Monrovia. And then we have the Mano Rail, which was also done in the early 60s, about 145 kilometers, and it started from Mano River to Monrovia, but it's not operational at this point. All in all, we have pre-war starters, we have about 490 kilometers of rail. But there's one poignant thing to that. Even at that time, up to now, there is not a professional, engaged regulator in that particular sector of the transport sector. So what this agreement does, it put into place the National Rail Authority, and also it gave us access, it gives HPX access for rail from Guinea to Liberia. Specifically, this is not a mining agreement. It is an access agreement. So Ivanhoe as a company was founded in 2010, British Columbia, and this whole Ivanhoe agreement started 2019. In 2019, they gave the then government $10 million. Around 2021, they gave the government then another $27 million. So about $37 million were previously paid. So the primary focus again is to use Liberian assets, which is the rail, starting from Yekepa to Buchanan, but there's a polished road, a dedicated road that is about 45 kilometers. I will be talking about that in details at some point. The purpose of this concession to facilitate transshipment along the Buchanan port for the export of iron ore. So that is about 267 kilometers. On top of that, they will be hauling ore on the road from Lola to Tokade. And they will go around the town called Boba. For those of us that are familiar with Nimba, will understand what that means. They will be constructing a handling facility at Tokade. There will be new rail infrastructure at some point. There will be new port facility infrastructure at Dija. They will have the proposed National Rail Authority established, and that will call us for an independent operator. Economic benefits. The agreement comes in phases. So phase 1 is the haulage of 1 million to 5 million metric tons. There's an economic benefit of $64 million. Phase 2 is the haulage of more than 5 million to 10 million metric tons. The economic benefit is about $888 million. There will be the expansion of the Nima port in the amount of $436 million. There will be an upgrade of rail in the amount of $452 million. And also, there's a rail access fee that they will pay to the Liberian government for 25 years, and that will be $506 million. There is community development fund for the affected areas. In 25 years, the counties of Nimba, Bong, and Grand Bassa will benefit around $50 million. Other statutory estimates and duties in 25 years amounts to $68 million. So when these investments are done, there are employment opportunities for Liberians. So phase 1 of the project, there will be around 400 direct employment, and there will be 3,200 indirect employments. And all of these jobs are characterized by local content. So there's phases of this. In the first phase, government will have border guards, custom officials, rail terminal officials, and port terminal officials. Specifically, the transportation, the land transport side, there will be road construction, there will be truck haulage, ore handling, drivers, mechanics, all of them hired. Also, there will be rail staff hired, rail construction workers, rail haulage workers, rail schedulers, ore handler, etc. Port staff employees as well. Port stockage construction will happen, port operations employees, port stevedore employees, tugboat services, port scheduling, port transmission operation, and ore handling as well. Also, there will be engineering staff requirement. So engineering staff in all categories: electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, metallurgical services, health, safety, and environment employees, fuel provisions, people will be hauling fuel from one point to another, community liaison officer, domestic staffing needs, maids, drivers, and so forth. Also, there are payments to the Liberian government. I touched on one point. Up to now, the government has received around $38 million from Ivanhoe. The first $37 million came from the previous government, and $1 million came upon the signing of the government by the executive branch. Now is before you. Additional payments will be $10 million in 25 years after ratification, $15 million in 2026, and additional milestone payment. I will talk more about the milestone payment. The milestone payment means we have to do certain things before they pay us. For example, $3 million upon the establishment of the National Rail Authority, $3 million upon the creation of an independent operator, and $3 million on the first anniversary of the independent operator. So this is an access agreement, and there are fee regimes. So specifically, the fee regime here is from 1 million to 5 million metric ton. The government gets $2.05 per metric ton for the access. Members of this committee, there have been all kinds of stories going around and asking about why Liberia. Will the Guineans really come? We believe they will. And one of the primary reasons is, so from Nimba Mountain to Samadou is about 200 kilometers, and from Samadou to the Port of Conakry is around 700 kilometers. Geographically, we know that distance is very far. From Nimba Mountains to the Port of Ikana through Tokade is only 243 kilometers. This is a shorter distance and it's feasible. Also, there's a dedicated movement haulage I talked about earlier from Lola in Guinea to Tokade. And that road is around 43, 45 kilometers, 18 on the Guinea side and 25 on the Liberian side. Also, there's a bilateral agreement that was signed between Liberia and Guinea. Copies of those letters are before you. Well, previously, Liberia and Guinea had signed 3 access agreements for transshipment. Specifically, there was a transshipment agreement between Guinea and Liberia, and that was signed July 14, 1973. There's a protocol for the application of transit agreement between Liberia and Guinea that was signed in 1983. And also there's a protocol to facilitate transportation between Liberia and Guinea, only based on natural resources, that was also signed in 2013. And also there's an implementation agreement between Liberia and Guinea to facilitate that. In the folders that I submitted the last time, there's letters from the Guinean authorities, and there is an access agreement letter from the then Ministry of Transport, and those agreements have been signed, ratified by this legislature, and also ratified from the Guinean side. At this point, I will pause and let my colleagues chip in. Thank you.
Hold on, Minister. Police, some of our police just came in. We'll allow them to introduce themselves. So police can introduce yourself, please. We'll start from the left back.
Senator Edwin Snow, Chair Public Senator Edwin Snow, Chair Hydrocarbon Energy Environment Committee, Senator Omicron.
Hello, my name is Senator Emmanuel James Nkweki from Mackin County. I'm a member of the Judiciary Committee for the purpose of this hearing.
I'm Abraham Garros Dillon. I represent Montreal County, member of the Judiciary Committee that constitutes the Joint Committee for this hearing.
I'm Samuel Kuga, Senator Nimba County.
My name is Amara Kone from Ivanhoe County.
My name is Senator Thomas Yaya Nimble, member of the Transport Committee.
My name is Luminity Shkatekwa. I represent Green Crew, chair on the Committee on Concession and Investment, and co-chairing the Joint Committee.
Okay, so Minister can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. The Honorable Minister of Transport has spoken of most of the items that has to be addressed, and so I would just like to add a few more. This Ivanhoe concession agreement is an instrument that seeks to grant right to the company to utilize, under defined terms and conditions, capacity on the Nimba to Ikana rail. This comes as a result of many years of aspiration and efforts of the government of Liberia to increase its benefit from the rail by utilizing in a manner that provides third-party access, while also ensuring that AML's rights are protected and guaranteed. Over the years, efforts were made with our neighbor the Republic of Guinea, and these engagements culminated in the most recent time frame in the signing of several instruments, most notably the implementation agreement between the government of Liberia and the government of Guinea, which was dated October 11, 2019. The government of Liberia has also introduced several national instruments, which includes executive order, such as Executive Order number 112 of October 11, 2022, Executive Order number 136 of October 10, 2024, and Executive Order number 153 of October 14, 2025. All of which, amongst others, seek to establish the National Railway Authority and to ensure that such national assets are regulated and utilized on a multi-user basis for the benefit of Liberia. The Ivanhoe Concession Asset Agreement is intended to initially make use of the third-party access provision of existing AML's MDA, AML meaning the ArcelorMittal Liberia, while also providing for the transition to an independent operator in September of 2030. That is when the existing terms of the AML's MDA expires, or the AML's MDA is amended to incorporate the transition to an independent operator by 2030. While the initial capacity allocation granted in the CAA for the Phase 1 project, which relates to the use of the existing railroad, is 5 million tons per annum, Ivanhoe will have the opportunity to apply for increased capacity allocation and extension of the existing railroad, provided it furnishes satisfactory railroad capacity study, port engineering reports, and supporting feasibility studies relative to increased shipment volume on the Nimba to Buchanan Railroad. There are several conditions for Ivanhoe beginning to ship products. These include completing the construction of a haul road from Guinea border to Tokade, loading and unloading and storage facilities in Tokade, construction of loading and unloading facility in Buchanan near the commercial pier, entering into port operation agreement with the National Port Authority, entering into the required operational agreement with AML, and completing any necessary railroad capacity expansion. The Phase 2, subsequent phase, project under the CAA relates to expansion of the railroad capacity from the Guinea border all the way to the Atlantic coast for the shipment of up to 30 million tons and the construction of a new multi-user port in Buchanan. Honorable Chairman and members of the Honorable Senate, given the work that the GOL's negotiating team has done, though we did not get everything that we wanted, which is usually the case as one would expect during any negotiation, we believe that we have done our best to ensure that this agreement brings benefit to the Republic of Liberia. Thank you very much.
So we will look at seniority. We'll have the Minister of Justice to speak, then NRC, then Finance.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Co-Chair, Honorable Chair, Honorable Co-Chair, distinguished joint committee members, thank you. I will bring you greetings from the Minister of Justice. As you are aware, the Ivanhoe Concession and Access Agreement was executed between the government of the Republic of Liberia, Ivanhoe Liberia Limited, and Société de Mines de Fort de Guinée, SMFG. Essentially, the parties, that is the government and Ivanhoe, in furtherance of the purposes and terms of the implementation agreement, undertook and executed the Concession and Access Agreement, 1, to grant long-term access rights relating to the Yekepa to Buchanan Rail, and 2, to enable Ivanhoe evacuate Guinean iron ore by means of our existing infrastructure, and 2, to grant the grant of the right to develop new rail and put infrastructure in order to facilitate, among other things, the evacuation of Guinean bulk mineral products from the Republic of Guinea. Kindly permit me to dispense with what have been stated earlier, because I don't think it is in our interest to belabor those things and bore you. They are factual, they have been restated by 2 of our colleagues. The access agreement grows out of an instrument called the implementation agreement. What does the implementation agreement seek to do? In a succinct way, a Guinean mining operator who desires to access the uses of Liberian infrastructure must first request an eligibility and meet the requirement prescribed by authorities of the Republic of Guinea, specifically in the mining sector. It's a 2-tier arrangement. The request for eligibility is handled by the Republic of Guinea. If essentially what the request of eligibility does for a mining operator pursuant to the implementation agreement is that once you meet the requirement prescribed by the Guinean authority and you are licensed, then you will make an application as provided for by the implementation agreement to our Ministry of Transport and the relevant authority in order to access our infrastructure, specifically or principally the rail infrastructure. The Republic of Guinea handles the eligibility requirement. Liberia, on its own, handles the access part of this arrangement. So basically, that's how the implementation agreement was formulated. We are close to the Lola area where you have the Nima Mountain that is in Liberia. You have another portion of the mountain that is also in Guinea. And being desirous, the 2 countries, the 2 sister republics, that look, it will be easier for Guinea to use Liberian assets, ultimately benefiting both countries. It's a free door. This is essentially a transshipment agreement. What is done, and it is accommodated by this implementation agreement. So kindly permit me to stop there. Questions will be, and no question will come, and we will be prepared to address that. Since we are 5 here, let me not take the rest of the time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Honorable Chair, Honorable Co-Chair, and distinguished senators, I think my colleagues have said it all. Permit me to ask for this excuse that based on the most of the responses or the overview that have been given by my colleagues, that I don't repeat or that I don't bore you any other repetition. So I'll stand by. If there are any questions, we'll be willing to provide answers to those questions. Thank you.
Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Co-Chair, distinguished senators. I would like to say thank you for the invite, and also extend on behalf of the Minister of Finance and Development Planning who cannot be here due to other pressing national issue, extend his apology on his behalf. And like the sector ministry has given you the in total of this agreement, I would just like to speak a little bit more with regard to the fiscal terms of the agreement. Like the Minister of Transport said, basically we have the transit fees and we have also the access fee. For the transit fee, it's straightforward. We have 0.10 per ton for every shipment that will be made through Liberia. For the access fee, it will be on an annual, scale, meaning from 0 to 500 metric tons. It will be 1.95 per ton. From 5 to 10 million tons, it will be 1.85 per ton. And from 10 to 15 million, it will be 1.75 per ton. And from 15 to 20 million, it will be 1.65 per ton. Above 20 million tons will be 1.55 per ton. Regarding the fiscal regime, in terms of our taxation, most of the provision here were made on the law of general applicability, meaning most of the fiscal provision will be executed in line with the revenue code. Nevertheless, capital goods will be exempt Custom user fees will be paid by Ivanhoe, 500,000 payable in 30 days after the shipment for custom user fees. Income taxation will also be based on the general applicability, meaning we will have to follow the revenue code of Liberia. So much has been said. I would like to stop here and probably get ready for your question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. But none of you here submitted a statement, so you have a copy of what you said. You want to get something to give members of the committee? Okay, so in the meantime, again, the committee take note of that. We'll proceed further. Police, you now listen to the presentation submitted by a member of the executive branch. It is now time for our police to interact with them. We will give the opportunity to police to speak on the issue when they are done in that order, and then the next person can pick it up. Minister, let me remind you again that we officially send you a communication requesting for some documentation relating to this hearing and activities. And what you submitted is one of those is the communication. What we requested for the consent. There's a letter from Guinea. It's dated 2020. Is this the correct document you sent to us?
Yes, but I
will call you.
I just want you to verify that letter.
Yes,
so that's the letter.
Yes.
So this is 2020.
Yes.
What we requested for, do you have any communication from the present administration? This is the previous administration That's what we requested for. So do you have copy of any communication from the Guinean authority, this present administration? If you have it, fine. You don't have it, you can tell us.
Yeah, but Senator, Honorable Chair.
Do you have copy of any communication from this? This document is 2020.
Yes.
This is the previous administration.
Yes.
After the implementation agreement signed between the two leaders, former leaders. This present leadership in Guinea, do you have any consent letter from them?
No, we don't have any communication from the current government. But yeah,
okay. It's okay.
Can I?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Just information, please.
What's the information?
NIC wrote the ambassador accredited near Monrovia, and we did several follow-ups. There was no response from the Guinean government.
Oh, excuse me, hold on. Please hold on. He's saying something.
I'm calling you to order.
Yeah,
I'm asking you to order.
deny. Hold on, let him end this video and come in. Proceed. Proceed.
So we actually followed up with the embassy here in Monrovia, but there was no response from the ambassador. In fact, we did that during the time of the negotiations, and there was no follow-up.
So no communication from the
No
previous.
response from the Guinean government.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. Sorry, I've called a gentleman to order.
What's your order?
Thank you. You see, that's a problem we have. NRC cannot bring a foreign government to the embassy. I'm speaking of Chair of Foreign Affairs. The NRC should have written the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Foreign Affairs Minister to channel through the embassy. Probably that's why you haven't got him reply. That's the order I wanted to call him to. That's why the Guinean government has not responded to you. Because they will not respond to any entity of government unless it goes through the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
So, Honorable Chair, the Guinean government.
Yeah, another colleague is off. Yeah.
To the witness.
You have information on order. Your turn will come to speak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Minister, do you plan to give us any new communication from the new authority? Because we requested for this, no reply from you, and more than 2 weeks, no communication from you. Do you plan to give us any communication for the new authority in the shortest possible time?
Honorable Chair, we have submitted all the documents in our possession to the committee. We believe, and the Guineans are intimated to us that they are, I'm on oath. The Guinean authorities are intimated to us that they are in no way, in no objection to this agreement. We signed 3 previous implementation agreement with them, previous government, and now our government has signed one. The IA agreement that we talk about. They are in no way objection to this, and we ourselves are not in objection to this. We have worked together over and over, and they have not taken one stand against what we are trying to do in this concession. By the way, for more information, the Guinean government owns 15% of Ivanhoe. On top of that too, the Guinean government gets the same access fees for the transshipment of ore to Liberia. On top of that, the Guinean government gets custom user fees as well. So they are benefiting from this agreement as well. On top of that, the Guinean government there will be a steel facility plant built in Guinea to implement this agreement. So we are in full communication with our counterpart across the aisle, across the border. Sorry. Just the other day, last Friday, the Guinean Transport Minister was in Margibi County at the FIR Ordinary Summit, and we had discussions about this. So the Guineans have not intimated any issue with this. Just to make that clear, I'm on oath.
So we'll now proceed. Let's go. You will have the time.
There are dispensation today on where they are to leave.
Okay. No problem.
Hello, the team from the IMCC. I have two questions. In the public listing, so is for the education of the public, and my own education as well. What is referred to as the asset agreement? Then look out on ask two questions.
So, the access agreement is an agreement that was signed between Liberia and Guinea for transshipment of natural resources. That is the access agreement. But before, yes, but before then, there were three other agreements between Liberia and Guinea. Stay in effect.
Take it slowly and say for the public access agreement.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Senator. Basically, it amounts to a transshipment agreement. Probably we say transshipment. The intended purpose, like you said, the water audience might have a better appreciation. We have a rail that was built during the Lamco days, running from Tugele to Buchanan, the port of Buchanan. Guinea has huge deposits of iron ore not too far from our borders. In order to move the iron ore from the border close to Liberia to Conakry is nearly impossible. So they enter an arrangement with the country of Liberia that was formalized in 2021 called Implementation Agreement. And that agreement is intended to facilitate Guinean mineral products to be evacuated or by means of using our rail. Now, based on that, an agreement called Concession and Access Agreement was, yes.
So Guinea got the iron ore.
Yes.
Move it through Liberia.
Through Liberia.
And we'll pay out to move the iron ore.
Yes, thank you.
I want to go out with it. Number two. That is what. Number two. It's my understanding from the original Mita that currently Mita is in control of the rail. That is up to 1 year. If my understanding is correct.
Your understanding is correct. Mita has an existing Second Amendment that expired September 24, 2030. And under that arrangement, there is a third party access right. So based on that arrangement, the government saw the need to grant the third party access right to Ivanhoe. A current amendment, I think, is supposed to be before you under the Mita MDA called the third amendment. And even before the end of this current okay. All right. But as it was negotiated by the executive, provision are contained therein that third party access right will be granted under an arrangement, and the National Rail Authority, as a matter of fact, was established by an executive order. The formalities will be finalized and concluded by you, whereby we'll have an independent rail operator, unlike the past where AML, which is Mita, has been the user operator. Thank you.
So when there's an agreement, one way, I'm all begin to use the rail, like so many ways if the agreement is ratified.
It is envisioned that probably within 2 years or 3 years maximum, they would have begun to do evacuation of the rail, or of all on the rail.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair, to the witness. Are you aware that the government had an MTO meter?
Yes, Senator.
Yes, we are aware.
If so, owing to the fact that you have had another company that will be transiting through Liberia, have you sat with MITA to have an agreement or understanding to avoid conflicts in the process?
Well, the current MDA, as the Minister of Justice has said, has a provision which has to be followed in order to have access to the current rail infrastructure. And it is along that line this agreement has been drafted to take that into consideration for the next 5 years of the current ArcelorMittal agreement, and then going forward beyond 2030 when the agreement, as it is right now, would either expire or would be modified.
Yeah, my concern being, you haven't had a law, even if you have a law, a real act or whatsoever, it's matter of compulsion that MITA be part of the discussion, because they have had concession agreement with you internationally to use a rail, and you come in with somebody that will also be added. The issue of traffic need to be regulated as to who will use the rail at this particular time. There must be an agreement with the government, Ivanhoe, and ArcelorMittal. So my question is, have you had a meeting in this agreement, contractual agreement, along with MITA?
Honorable Senator, so in October of 2024, His Excellency the President did issue an executive order. That executive order mandates the creation or the setting up of a national rail authority. I think my colleagues here have all said it. The existing AML MDA expires in 2030. That gives them the right to manage the rail. After 2030, the government new policy now is to set up a national rail authority. During this transition, we've recognized AML's right under the MDA. In fact, we have an instrument that is called the Rail Standard Operating Procedure, Principles, RSOP. We're currently negotiating that would grant other users the right, recognizing that AML will continue to be the user operator or the operator of the rail. Post 2030, the government policy would be to set up an independent rail authority. By then, the rail will revert to the government of Liberia. Under that scheme, we'll then go through a competitive process that will see us having an independent operator that will manage the traffic concerns that you just raised.
Yeah, we look at the executive order, as you said, the inconvenience of the facts that you have an existing MD. You have an existing MD to avoid arbitration. You don't think the company that is currently operating in that area need to be in the know, and then you have an understanding as to when and how you're going to schedule the transshipment.
Order, the General. Order to my colleague, please.
Order did not let it fully proceed. Answer.
Honorable Senator, your concerns are quite real, and they are addressed to the extent that AML, although AML has, for our purpose, we'll keep saying AML. AML simply, not for you, because you already know that, for the wider audience, is ArcelorMittal. AML third amendment, they are user operator, but not at the exclusion of third party. No. The current MBA provides for third party access. And those were considered when the concession and access agreement was being negotiated and determined and concluded. By the executive, by the IMC.
By and between MITA and the government or the new company coming.
MITA has an arrangement. Their rights are not invalidated. We are not arbitrary. This particular IMCC representing the executive branch is not arbitrary. If there was no provision in the AML agreement to grant third-party access, we would not be before here today. We would have waited until their concession expired, their MPA expired in 2034 before we come to you.
Do you have reliance? That you can provide
the MPA is our reliance. The MPA.
Which section? Because the MPA is a plenty, I mean, use volume of
the
documents.
provision that deal with
The particular component, the section that you're talking about, you need to quote it so that we understand which section. No. That particular component I want to see, I want to hear and go quote it and we do research.
Police. Please listen, Senator Miller. We said the rules of this hearing, every senator will be given the floor to speak. When you are done, the next senator is no time. The next senator given the move forward. You love giving the senator after when he's done, then you can come in. You understand? Yeah. So you can make follow up on questions to the nominee, but not to the police to say if we call the police to order, we cannot do that.
Okay.
Yeah. To the question. You can make follow up to additional question to them, you can do that.
Yes, so
not to the police.
The Councilor, the Deputy Minister said that the current AML agreement is clearly specified that the agreement provides for third-party access to the agreement. But I heard, I think it was Hans or the NIC man who said that MITA still concession ends 2030, and thereafter there will be a new agreement that will provide for third-party access.
Yes,
Under the current AML arrangement, second amendment, they are they qualify as user operator. I think that's the little confusion problem we all have had. User operator. Thereafter, they are no longer going to be user operator. There will be a different mechanism put in place, recognizing and establishing the independent rail operator. Of course, coming into being, which will be created by you, will be the National Rail Authority that will regulate the rail administration in the country.
On this topic. Follow up on this topic.
Don't worry about it. Sure. So, Minister of Transport, we have to make number one of all. This agreement was in place from National Rail Authority. And you know the Rail Authority has not been legislated. So, that's when the citizens appeal to us when we act on the National Rail Authority. And the legislators say no. We don't want the National Rail Authority. We want the Ministry of Transport to manage whatever we want to do. Then what's the counsel of this agreement? Or what will you be doing to us? Which means, if this is in the agreement, you'll be tying our hands. Right?
Honorable Senator,
When we agree now, we say yes, National Rail Authority. When you send it, we already agreed.
well,
So, it's in place, it's a proper to uphold that clause there. National Rail Authority.
so I'm sorry for the confusion, but it contemplates the setting up of the National Rail Authority and the subsequent independent operator.
So if you didn't mention that or National Railway Authority, why would you have gone to the agreement?
Well,
Is it necessary that you did it?
that was just part of my introduction because.
It's in the agreement, not because
Yeah, but that was
one of the major things in the agreement.
Yes, but there has to be fair play in the way if the as a government if they.
What if we have said an institution to take care of the manage instead of saying a national railway authority?
It could be an institution. So I will agree with you on that point. It could be any institution that manages that.
They don't tie our hands.
Understood, Senator. But the whole thing here is that we've had over 490 kilometers of rail without any regulator. We struggle with safety issues. We struggle with environmental issues. We struggle with even derailment and community interventions. And right now, I'm dealing with a situation on the Bond Road. They make it rain, folks. You know, with my small staff, I have to handle that, and it's an issue for me. It's overburdening me. But with this real authority that we are contemplating to be formed, with your blessing, then we have.
Require a complete different discussion.
Okay.
Not here, not now, not your concession agreement.
With your blessing, then we can have a specific body that will deal with all of these issues. Thank you.
So, Chief, let me end.
Oh, okay.
I would like to know whether Ivanhoe has started money. Are they?
Ivanhoe is not mining.
I don't want to be Guinea. I'm not talking about
SMFG is the one that is licensed to mine in Guinea. They are waiting for the proper arrangement to be concluded probably before they can do the actual mining. And the arrangement, unless you are able to evacuate your hole, there is no utility for you to mobilize and begin to mine.
So what's the rush? You haven't started. I mean, it means that the real, the act, need to be the first. When that is done, then you come to an agreement because you have access to utilize the rail.
Honorable Senator, there is an existing executive order for 3 years.
Executive order for 1 year.
Yes.
And the people are not started.
But the president,
The president just extended the executive order. The real act. Before the transshipment by right, there is no need to even have a contractual agreement with transshipment. Transshipment is internationally accepted. Those who have goods living from here to Mali, they enter Liberia, no contractual agreement. Once you come and declare your goods at the port of Monrovia, you pay your transshipment fee, automatically you carry it. So I think the core issue there is the real act to be the first priority, then to run the Ivanhoe.
So during this transition up until when AMD has expired, Ivanhoe plans to begin shipping through Liberia, using Liberia corridor. During that time, the current AML MD, like I've said, we recognize AML right there, the current user operator. There is excess capacity. On what is called the RSOP, Ivanhoe will be shipping their ore between up until when AML MD is expired.
Okay. Senator Conan? Yes. You have the floor.
Thank you.
At this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes. Thank you, our colleagues from the executive branch here again. First of all, I would like to say that congratulate you for negotiating this. You know, there's some good things. Usually when we bring you here, we grill you. They will not identify some of the good things that we're seeing in the agreement. The schedule that you have on the payment, I thought they were good. My first question is, it says that there has already been upfront payment of 7 million. That's the upfront payment 1. And then upfront payment 2 of 7 million, total of 7 million to the previous government.
Yes.
Will you enlighten the committee and the Nigerian people under what instrument was those payments made, legal instrument, and did they get the consent of the legislature? That's my first question. The second thing has to do with the fees we've negotiated for the tonnage fee. The money they will pay to us depends on the tonnage, right? So I'm looking at section 2.1 to 2.2 of the access agreement. And I will say this. The cross-border transit fee is 10 cents, 0.10 per ton. The product access fee is 195 to 155 per ton. Then we have the goods and equipment access fee of 20 cents per ton. All right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that you show this in the agreement. I guess my question is, do we know how many tons of iron ore Guinea has provisionally approved to be shipped through Liberia? Because the money we get will depend on the size of the iron ore, since the fees are too low, but with the more iron ore over time, you can make more money. This is what I'm going through. So do we know what Guinea has approved that will go through Liberia, that will put us in a position to benefit from the real? Because we're not really doing the iron ore. We get passing the iron ore using our boat to go to the market. The money we get depends on how many tons of iron ore come on our rail and go through our port. With the fees compared to the transshipment cost from Zimbabwe to South Africa, shorter distance at the moment. I just wanted to flag that to see if you can enlighten us on that. And then my third question has to do with, is there a provision in the access agreement that in the unlikely event that Guinea does not grant access, I would say here, go for it, because we need it. Since Liberia may be a second option with the Trans-Guinean Rail being a potential first option should the government decide to go with that. Does that mean that this agreement will terminate automatically? And then, if yes, this goes to justice. My brother Tomo, if that is so, would that be a sensible provision to include if already has not been approved in it? Then my last question. Is, have we seen the feasibility study of the mine in Guinea? And then, is there any reason why we gave 25 years access agreement based on that feasibility study? And if we have not seen it, is there any reason why we gave 25 years? If you can enlighten us. Yes.
MOJ will attempt on behalf of the team to answer two of the questions. The first one that deals with the two payments, the first payment and the second payment. He said, what instrument? The instrument that the payments were made on is called framework agreement. The framework agreement. I think it was the first payment of 7 million was paid December 23rd, 2019 as the first upfront payment, and the subsequent payment was done. The 30 million was paid March 31st, 2022.
Yes.
Totaling 37 million.
Yes.
They were paid on the framework agreement. The initial one, I think the framework agreement was even further amended probably to have facilitated the second payment.
For those listening, for Nigerians listening, could you just quickly, Council, tell us what the framework agreement is on behalf of procurement framework in the country?
Based on the implementation agreement,
Your microphone.
it goes off. Based on the implementation agreement, which is a bilateral protocol between Liberia and Guinea, that facilitated or envisioned the establishment of or permission of an access agreement by a Guinean mining operator, it was determined in 2019 that look, we have this protocol, but this company now is licensing Guinea. That must be a formal internal arrangement between Liberia and Guinea. It's a good faith arrangement that will facilitate Ivanhoe, SMFG to make some initial payment, demonstrating the good faith to endeavor the relationship and cement it. So the framework arrangement was established that clearly defines some of the stuff that's supposed to have been done. That was the purpose of the framework agreement. If that addresses, sorry, the microphone keep going off. If that has answered your question.
No, that's not answer all of my questions.
No, I will go
answer the legal part of it.
Yes.
Okay. The other part now is the money that we're talking about. Did it come on budget? Did they get legislative approval if it was used?
Unfortunately, I will not be able to specifically answer that. Yes, but payment was made on behalf of the country, and under the PFM law, you administered that law before. Payments approved the government are supposed to be deposited to the government general revenue account. So I assume that indeed it was done, but because these agreements, when they are done,
the finance is there. You can't assume for finance. Let finance answer the question. That's a fiscal issue.
Honorable Senator, I know those payments were made to the Central Bank of Liberia.
Okay.
We have sent those documents to this committee. The committee have copies of all the wire transfer of the $37 million.
That's fine. I'm not a member, so if they have it, that's fine. But the committee can discuss whether the way it was used,
yes,
was legal. Because if it came to the Constitution, the legislature did supplementary budget to authorize usage. That's a different thing. I just want to make sure.
Follow-up regarding, you can order the old office
Yeah.
follow-up.
Let you answer.
Yes.
Finance wanted to say something.
Yeah, we will have to check.
The transport minister has answered the question that they have evidence that the money was remitted to the consolidated account. So the company now met its obligation. You know, the other issue where the usurped legislative function on the usage, that's left to the committee. Yeah, you know, I don't want to keep pressing that. The second question.
The second question that I wanted to answer, you asked whether in case, whether there are sufficient safeguards pertaining to if Ivanhoe.
Question number 4.
Yeah, it's question number 4.
That's number 4.
Yes, that's the one I'm going to answer. This agreement, you know something we...
No, question number 3.
Okay, that's number 3.
Yeah.
That was the
It has something called detrimental reliance.
Okay.
It has something in law called detrimental reliance. Ivanhoe have come, SMB have come and impressed on us that look, we want access because we discover deposit, good quantity of deposit, and based on that you are likely to earn this much resources if you run out access. We rely on that as a country.
You trust the company?
I'm telling you, I said they got something called detrimental reliance. Detrimental reliance. You guys, if they contract was not serious, they would not have paid 37 million. 37 million is a lot of money. They said, look, we are able to evacuate in the first year probably 1 to 2 million metric tons. We base the fees, you see, it's graduated. The fees that my colleague here was reading is graduated. The larger the volume, the less the amount. And we stay tuned because to make more. You say, okay, this is what we did. In this agreement, is there. We have milestones, Honorable Senator Connor. We said, if you said you would begin to evacuate ore in year 2, we'll give you year 2, 6 months. If you fail to evacuate what you're supposed to fail, penalty will attach. It's in the agreement. And when the 6 months lapses, you have failed to still deliver. That penalty will double in another 6 months. How long will it continue? It will continue for some time, and we will have the right as a country to terminate the contract. Of course, not dispensing with other rights that will accrue to us for breach of contract.
Council, this is section 13. Will you mind telling us the amount of the penalty?
I don't have it right before me.
50,000.
Yeah. No, not 50,000.
No. It's not.
It's not 50,000.
One
mine can help you with it quickly. It's not 50,000.
Okay, can you tell us what the penalty would be for?
I think it should be 300,000 or 500,000 for the first 6 months. Which question you answering? The safeguard, whether there's a safeguard in this, if we execute this contract, Ivanhoe does not even move one iron ore. Because we expect transit fee. We also expect fee that will be generated by the movement of goods. Is in and out. For the development of their mine, they are expected to ship things through our port that will be evacuated to Guinea. They also pay for that. Not just the ore that is going to be evacuated from Guinea. No, it's more than that. So, if you said in year 2, it's Mr. Hines, can you guys just? Yeah, it's not 50,000, Mr. Connor. It's more. We had initially indicated 500,000 or so. I think it was negotiated to probably 300,000 in the first 6 months.
Okay, it's 500,000.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay, customs transit fee.
Yes.
It's not just customs transit fee. It's the penalty. The penalty will attach. If you fail to deliver on the assurances you gave us that we rely on to our detriment.
No, I don't have that yet. Can you tell us? What is it?
We find that specific.
It's there. The provision.
It's in the provision.
Yeah. It's graduated and it doubles. Okay. Yeah, it doubles.
During the negotiation, Honorable Senator, there were 21 points that were going back and forth with the companies with. And part of those points were the penalties you talk about. That you're not just going to come and just sign an agreement and you don't deliver. So we assign penalties to those. But in all fairness to them and all of us in the IMCC, a company will not just come to your country and spend $37 million. And when we did the agreement, they pay another additional $1 million at the central bank. So the total payment to the government is around $38 million. But I won't go to one of the questions you asked.
Don't trust any profit-making entity based on what they tell you. It's possible that by us granting them this access, they could raise billions of dollars on the market for their mine in Guinea. Okay. A fraction of which would go through our country. We would be empowering them to raise money to mine that mine. If they have money, trust me, that mine will be operational.
But there are
penalties. I don't want you to tell us that the serious company is 37 million. 37 million divided by 25 is 1.2 million.
But there is.
Yeah.
We will find the spot that
that's not a lot of money, where Liberia is now.
Agree.
For us to downplay.
Agree.
This.
Agree.
Okay.
So one of your questions was, were there feasibility done? We gave copies to the committee of the pre-feasibility that was done, and it's estimated. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And it's estimated that the mine in Guinea is around 750 million tons of ore that is there to be transited through Liberia. So you can see 750 million will have more than 25 million.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That addresses that concern. Then the third question. I mean
them, I have the same question here. What if Guinea decides
we cannot give that permission, correct, to translate or what into the agreement? That's it. Because our country is option 2. Yeah. They have an option. If they exercise that option, then what happens?
That would not qualify as force majeure, so we still have claim, we have remedy, and we pose against Ivanhoe. We don't grant money license to the Guinean company. They granted a license to Guinean company, and we rely on the protocol that was executed in Ivanhoe that is still alive.
What if it dies? That's our question. What if that protocol is good? That's what I saw it is there. But what if they say, you know what, we're not going to do this? Then what happens with this agreement? Because we're going to be giving access, third-party, access to perhaps our most important rail transport in the country. So with the assumption that we're going to make money off of it. So we're going to be thinking now in the future, we are going up 1.2, maybe I heard that the Ways and Means Fund additional money. We want to be thinking ahead in terms of growing that part. So we are salivating for more money. We want to get the assurance from you. In the event this does not happen, then what happens between us and Ivanhoe? What do you have? What kind of safeguard you have to protect Liberia in this agreement in the event that happens?
We have to look at the tenets of contract. But before, let me just say
Council.
Yeah.
That was not the same question.
Yeah, I don't want to say this that Senator Conner, let me just say this. If they were going to die, I think we would have died a long time ago. As I speak to you, I will speak here today, there is a group that is evacuating all from Guinea to La Côte d'Ivoire that desire to use the very rail that we're talking about. They are in talk with us. It's not before you yet because they have not been concretized yet. Currently, there is a group that is evacuating all through La Côte d'Ivoire.
But Council, don't you think there should be some safeguard there that protect us in the event? Because you see, I'm sorry, I'm not lecturing you. I'm not lecturing you. I know you know, but mining projects are very expensive.
Agreed.
The company may have seed money to do all this government relationship thing, get this something, but they will have to use now the fact that Liberia has granted access to its rail and port to be able to go out on the market and raise the necessary capital to mine in Guinea and then use it here. So we, by this Senate, this legislature saying we pass it, President signed into law, Ivanhoe is going to go to the market to raise money. Right? I want you to think about that. In the event that doesn't happen, they fail, they don't raise the money. Then we have given all of this. What happens? What do we get for giving our good intention to them?
They have defaulted. We revert to the terms of the agreement and go after them.
How? What is
They provide for arbitration. They provide for
arbitration in a Liberian court or
no, not Liberian court. I think it is the Hague or the UK. UK, not New York.
But you are not you are not done your feasibility study. So whether these people translate through Liberia, but you are approving, giving them the authority to use the rail. But the real core issue here is the rail will not just be utilized as it is. They are taking natural resources from Guinea to pass through Liberia. You are not looking at the law that you will pass.
No, they didn't answer my last question.
The
last question was. The last question was based on the feasibility study and why 25 years. The minister has answered that the committee had the feasibility study and then the tonic side of the law, and that informed the 25 years.
Yes.
Finance, over 25 years, the life of this contract, how much money Liberia stands to get over the life of this contract, including the 37 million that has already been paid?
Well, it is
based on the tonnage that he has given out, like the feasibility study, or the 10 cent, 25 cent, something, have you done the math to assure us that this is a good investment for Liberia? I don't care about Ivanhoe. It's a business company. It's not sorry for us. It's here to make profit. It's the mistake we made when we were ministers, when we did these deals, and somebody said they were all bogus deals. They were not bogus, but the terms were not favorable to Liberia. That is why I'm pushing you on this. Over the life of this contract, how many millions of dollars are we going to get for this contract?
Accumulatively, we expect to get between 1.4 to 1.8 billion.
Over 5 years?
Over years. And then we did an estimate, and the estimate we did, we have low, we have medium, and we have high. In some instances, like take for instance, like the transship and access fee is straightforward. We estimated, 1.040.
What?
For transit and access fee. That's what I'm calling transit and access fee. I said billion. I said we are expected to raise between 1.4 billion and 1.8 billion for the last span of the agreement. And then we have, the fees structure. Here, if you look at the concession, payment is 25 billion cutting across. If you come to transit and access fee, you will have like 1.040 million. And if you come to corporate income taxes, we expect to raise, for the low, we expect to raise 110. For the medium, we expect 110 million for the need for 25 years. 25 years. As a category, we did estimate between low. Listen, we did an estimate between low. We have a low. We got 3 scenarios. We have 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, low. Scenario 2, medium. And scenario 3, high. For the high, for the corporate income taxes, we estimated to get 110 million. For the yes. If we look at it medium term, we expect to get 200 million. If we look at it for the high term, we expect to get 510 million. Then if you come to other taxes and duties, 85 cut across, million cut across. If you come to community development, for the low, we expect to get 109 million. That also cut across. So the total between low, medium, and high, for low, we expect to get 1.415 billion. For the medium, we expect to get 1.505 billion, and for the high, we expect to get 1.815 billion. That is why we are saying it is between 1.4 billion to 1.8 billion for the last term of the concession agreement.
So this means, on average, annually, Liberia should get 56 million. Over 25 years, that's 1.5. I'm taking the low one.
Senator, if I may, and these are direct payments that he's referring to. We all know the concession agreements, there are a lot of indirect benefits and payments that come along with
Tell us about that.
So, contractual arrangements that are given to on our local content.
Let me be specific. How many jobs this will create for Liberians?
It's projected to be over 2,000 jobs. Direct jobs. Precisely. And then we have also indirect jobs.
The minister said 400.
Indirect jobs that we projected.
Direct jobs 400.
Yeah. Direct jobs 400. Indirect jobs even more than that. So you have corporate, you have community contributions, you have local content provisions in terms of contracts. So there are immense benefits. I think some of the things that he has highlighted is mainly direct payments that he has that would capture there. But the indirect payments are enormous.
How about the port?
The senator is wrapping up, please.
Can you tell us if we got Freeport, Freeport Monrovia is here. Our second port is Buchanan. This is not just about rail, it's also about the port. And we know that the port requires work. In this agreement, are we going to get a brand new port?
Yeah, sure. So there are infrastructure development. In the phase 1, Ivanhoe is expected to do an access road coming out of Guinea through up until getting to the existing rail in Tokyo. They intended to also invest into a temporary port that will handle between 2 million up to 3 million metric tons in Buchanan, including port handling facilities that they intend. Those are all investments that they're going to be making in our economy. In the more long term, they have the right to develop what is called a deep water port. And the feasibility study they'll have to start. Right after this, they will have to commence a feasibility study.
Sure.
And that will inform the investment that is required to invest into the deep water.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so Senator Dillon will take the floor. Before then, you representing the Minister of Finance, the benefit as the Senator has that the country will get financially for the past, in the 25 years, the left turn of the contract. Can you please document that to the committee? Official, and please have your minister proper to sign that before attach letter to it. Yeah?
Okay.
Senator Dillon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a few basic questions. My first question will be to the Minister of Justice representative. Is Ivanhoe HPX? Question.
Ivanhoe is a successor to HPX. HPX amended and became Ivanhoe, Liberia.
Do we have the legal papers of HPX transition into Ivanhoe?
Yes, there exists the papers for that, the facility that have.
Good.
Senator, maybe repeat yourself.
HPX, when we started the arrangement, we were dealing with a company called HPX. HPX. Subsequently, HPX became Ivanhoe. So it's a teacher name. It's a teacher name. We're talking about a Liberian company. That's a permitted thing. In all our associations law, it's permitted. You can be called Camo Incorporated today, tomorrow you say Camo 2 Incorporated. Nothing is prohibited. It's not prohibited.
Okay, so let's proceed, sir.
Thank you.
So Ivanhoe, is it a Liberian registered company?
Ivanhoe, yes. Directly answering your question, yes.
I didn't hear your answer, sir.
Yes. It is a Liberian registered company. Headquartered on 9th Street.
Oh, you knew what happened there? How long has it been registered as a company like that?
Unless you give me some time, I cannot state here in this session and tell you what it has been registered. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, no. But the instrument can be provided to you. We can seek it and have it provided to you.
I will be requiring to see HPX legal existence in Liberia. How long? Tax clearance, business registration, and the address of HPX or Ivanhoe in Liberia. And these questions are based on your answer that Ivanhoe is locally registered in Liberia and headquartered on our street.
Thank you, Mr. That will be provided to you. It will be provided. Probably not later than tomorrow or the next Wednesday.
Thank you. My colleague asked, but let me ask the Modine way. Ivanhoe taking anything from Liberia or transporting through Liberia? They taking any or minimal research?
No, none whatsoever. None.
What are they coming to Liberia?
Basically, all these arrangements, they are like the logistic arm of SMFG. SMFG is the Guinean mining operator that will mine the gold, the mineral in Guinea and evaluate to Liberia. Ivanhoe is here to facilitate essentially that. They are expected to bring their heavy equipment and other operating machinery that will be brought in by means of our port and evacuated through the use of our rail to Guinea.
So HPX or Ivanhoe is supposed to construct a track railroad from inside Guinea to connect it to Liberia to Yekepa. Correct?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, Honorable Senator.
How long is that going to take? That connection?
The feasibility study will be done when this agreement is consummated. Initially, they will do heavy haul.
No.
Yes.
How long is it going to take for HPX or Ivanhoe to construct the railroad from inside Guinea to connect it to Liberia to Lima so that we can transport by rail the product from Guinea?
I am unable to answer that. With your permission, can defer to one of my colleagues, or this information, if it is not readily available, can subsequently be provided.
So they will hold these hearings, suspend them until those essential information are subsequently provided. Or one of your colleagues can answer. How long is it going to take to construct a railroad from inside Guinea to connect it to Yekepa, Liberia, Lima, so that the ore can be shipped down by rail from Guinea to Buchanan?
So
that's the question.
Senator?
Yes, sir.
It's a dedicated road that they will do. The entire stretch is around 43 kilometers, 18 kilometers in Guinea and 25 in Liberia. They will start doing that work early next year upon the ratification of this document. Once this agreement is ratified, they will start the work immediately.
Mr. Minister.
I'm coming to the
No, Mr. Minister. 2 years. Mr. Minister, it took you, meaning we the government, especially the executive branch, it took you more than a year. In fact, this discussion started from the previous government. You were at the Minister of Transport as Deputy Minister. My question is very, very important. How long is it going to take for us to construct, or for Ivanhoe now, former HPX, to construct the track from inside Guinea? Now let me tell you the basis of my question. I will not sit here and another company. What happened at Western Cluster? Since Western Cluster came here, they had 3 years to use our road, and within that 3 years, they should have built a train track, the river, to transport their ore from the Western Cluster by rail. I think it's gone almost 10 years. How is Ivanhoe taking the ore from Guinea to become? How long are they going to take to construct the rail from inside Guinea to connect it to Liberia to Yekepa to transport the ore to Bassa for export? I'm sure the executive that been sitting in the matter can answer that.
So the agreement calls for a haulage road. The haulage road is about 25 kilometers. It will be the construction.
Mr. Chairman, this hearing is not a lecture. I know that the period that you will, the HPX or Ivanhoe will use the road to bring the ore from Guinea to connect it with Liberia's railroad through Nima Yegepa. During that period of using the road with truck, how long is it going to take for HPX or Ivanhoe to construct the railroad so that they will start using the motor road?
2 years, Senator.
So what difficult to answer?
No, but I was trying to lay a basis on my question before I answer.
It's 2 years, the 2-year period time frame to construct the railroad, because the key thing is that transport of the rail of the ore from Guinea to Liberia onto the Ghana. Is it in the agreement, the time frame 2 years to construct the rail? Is it in the agreement?
Yes, it's in the agreement. I can't find the specific provision. I don't know the specific provision, but I can
Okay, Minister. All the other entities of government under the interministerial committee. Say the minister knows specifically. Just the minister, do you know which part of the provision we have the time to construct the railroad?
I don't have the agreement in my possession here.
You give for a year, you don't have the agreement?
Senator Long, sir.
Yes. Yeah?
Is that 2 years?
Yeah?
2 years.
Is that 2 years?
Which provision? Which are the provision?
They might want to check their files. I think they're ready.
It's in the feasibility that 2 years they will take to construct that.
Which part of the feasibility?
I will find the specific part of the feasibility and share with this committee. But a copy of all of these documents was sent to 30 copies. Was sent to every member of the Senate.
Okay.
We have those supporting documents.
Please take note.
Thank you.
2 further concerns. What will be ground for termination of this agreement should we ratify? Question.
Judge, I don't know, so you answer it.
Since you have copies of the agreement with you, I would kindly invite you to turn to page 98. They got company events of default.
Do you have a copy of the agreement?
Yeah.
I have the page, the relevant page that I want to read for the hearing.
Minister, I want to make something clear here. When we come here without post-travel, sir. I asked if you have copy of the agreement, you said no. So?
At the time you asked, I did not have the requisite page or the copy that I needed. A colleague of mine has one and he just shared it with me. So I have a copy. I am not here to bluff or to poster at all. This is serious, that's why we're taking it serious.
What are grounds for termination of this agreement or concession?
26.2 company events of default. Kindly permit me, Honorable Chair and the distinguished members, to read the company events of default.
Please do.
26.2 company events of default. The company event of default shall exist if any of the following conditions or events shall occur and be continuing and does not arise as a result of force majeure or a permitted delay. A. The company shall have failed to pay any material amounts due under this agreement that are not subject to a bona fide dispute and shall have failed to cure such default within 30 days of notice thereof from the minister or the Minister of Finance. The company shall have defaulted. B. The company shall have defaulted in any material respect in the performance of any other material obligation of the company under this agreement and shall have failed to cure such default within 90 days after notice thereof from the minister where such material default in the performance of a material obligation reasonably expected to I. materially reduce the revenues of the government materially reduce the revenues that the government will receive with respect to the phase 1 project or the subsequent phase project. II, materially reduce the anticipated benefits to be realized from employment, training, and purchase of Nigerian goods and services. II3, cause material harm to the environment. IV4, have a material adverse impact on the implementation or operation of the non-discriminatory multi-user system, including a material adverse impact on the government's revenues in respect of the non-discriminatory multi-user system, or V5, result in the transfer of a direct or indirect equity interest in the company in violation of this agreement. C, the company fails to satisfy the conditions set forth in section 4.3a, conditions to track assets and commencement date on or before the applicable date pursuant to section 4.3c, conditions to track assets and commencement date. D, the company fails to submit the phase 1 project feasibility study on or before the date that is 24 months after the effective date, or satisfy the conditions set forth in section 6.2, conditions for construction of phase 1 project infrastructure, and commence construction on or before the date that is 24 months after approval of the phase 1 project feasibility study. E, the representation or warranty of the company contained in section 22IA, section 22IB, 22(1)B, in respect only to the reference to due authorization, section 22(1)F or section 22(1)I, representation and warranties by the company, and SFNG, proved to have been false or incorrect in any respect on the date of which made or any other representation or warranty of the company contained in section 22 proved to have been false or incorrect in any material respect on the date as of which made and has had. It is wrong because it is serious, and the Honorable Senator wanted to know what would trigger termination. Yes. It has to be a holistic approach. There are several things. Default notices may be required. I wish Honorable Senator Amaran Kwanan was saying here. He asked about the opportunity that will be given to us if there were breaches. What would we do? These things address most of those concerns, in addition to the penalty that will attach where we consider that to be sufficient safeguard.
Mr. Minister, is there any provision for review? If we ratify this, it's 25 years. Within 25 years, are there review period and what plan for review?
Like most of the current agreements that we are working on, we have made provision for review. I think it should be probably 5 years. I can check. Yes, it's 5 years.
You have the agreement?
Every 5 years. Yes, Senator, I did not memorize the agreement. Honestly, I did not memorize it in anticipation that.
No, I didn't say 5 years in that agreement. Can you tell us where it is?
Yeah, unless I check and confirm. You know, lawyers don't memorize it and then be passing around.
Mr.
Minister. Yes.
Mr. Minister.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. So, somebody the way I can behave, it then make a lawyer would want to act too powerful or possible. You as a lawyer, you can't do that in the court. Don't do that in the chamber of the Senate. You can't defend or represent the executive on an agreement, and you want to give us some intelligence check. Nobody asked you to memorize. You came for a hearing to defend a concession agreement that you signed as Minister of Justice. And we're asking you for significant provision of the act of the concession for us to make a decision, and you talk about you get memorized. We're not tolerate it. Sir, please. You will please find a provision that allows for review and when.
35, Honorable Senator, periodic review, page 117. 35, periodic review, 5-year review. This agreement shall be subject to periodic review once every 5 years after the date of first commercial operations for the purpose of good faith discussion to effect, subject to the requirements of section 36.4. So this provides for periodic review.
Thank you. This question sometimes will ask me, it's not because we have not read these documents. We do these questions so that it helps for public information as well.
What was it do commercial?
Number 2, lastly, I heard you in response to Senator Abawa's concern about what measures in place should in case this institution or entity defaults on payment or on performance. And you talked about some payment that the company will be made or required to pay. Correct?
Can you repeat your question?
Okay. Senator Conan asked what measure in place should the company default on performance? What happens?
This is adequately addressed on a company event of default, provided for under chapter 26.2. In the absence of the penalty, this addresses it. For example, Honor B, the company shall default in any material respect, blah, 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 then you come to I. Materially reduce the revenues that the government will receive with respect to phase 1 project or subsequent phase. To reduce the anticipated benefits to be realized. You initially heard me talk about detrimental reliance.
Right.
Based on this agreement, we projected that we are supposed to generate X sum of money every year.
Yes.
If by this representation and warranties you provided as a company, you materially fail to do that, they will have the basis to move on you either to terminate it and then say, does termination extinguish our other rights? No. No, they do not.
Is that room for guarantee?
Come again, sir.
Is that room provision? Is Ivanhoe providing any guarantee for performance?
They provide warranties in their representation. It's sufficient enough.
Correct. So what's the warranty?
Can they allow me to go through and find the warranty provision?
Bloji.
Senator Dillon, chapter 22 or article 22 deals with representations and warranties. It's found at page 89. Representation and warranties of a company and SMFG. As you may know, SMFG is a Guinean parent company. Such party has full power and authority to enter into legally binding, etc. Blah blah. This essentially addresses the concern that look, those who we are dealing with that purport to be the principal parties representing these two companies are indeed the ones that the documents they provide, all the promises and assurances made, they are true. So if it is determined, even if it is after it is ratified, they are determined to be untrue, we have a recourse against them relying on this warranty provision. That's what misled. You understand?
Sir, we have a company that is supposed to ship Is that a warranty you're talking about?
No
guarantee?
Guarantee?
No guarantee, nothing else besides that you're speaking about?
No guarantee in terms of what?
So HPX said they will give us money, they will do this, they will build road, this and that. What's a guarantee?
Who will fund it?
How? What a guarantee?
HPX or whoever they are called is a corporate entity. I think someone in fact insinuated here that look, given the nature of this kind of transaction, you might have your own money, but it might never be enough to undertake the nature of investment that might be required to undertake. So they call this kind of thing bankable projects. Bankable project, the financial expert among us can better speak to that. They raise money, they will have initial capital, seed capital, they come and do the preparatory work that is being done. They raise money, they have a time frame, they have financial institutions that are backing them, and those are sufficient when they are submitted to allow us trust that here we are dealing with someone that is serious. So probably let me can speak to this.
Minister,
yeah.
The issue that we will have the same issue here. You just said to us, Ivanhoe that law just incorporated. Just incorporated. So who's like a paper company? So who's the guarantor? What's the company that put up the money?
SMFG is the company that's supposed to be doing the money. This is probably SMFG is the company that has the money license in Guinea.
What's the guarantee for? So what's the guarantee for?
Just the exhibition of the money license, I think, for us and other instruments was sufficient to.
Mr. Minister, do we have anything from SMFG in Guinea to say we are in contract or agreement with HPX or Ivanhoe, and we are the parent company? We don't want to give our own. We want to guarantee that these people are only agent or shipping company.
They have their own relationship, and the instruments we have are sufficient and adequate enough that we rely on.
What instrument?
You have 30 pages 30 copies of instruments that were submitted to you. And most of them are on TV. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask again. Do we have any specific document from the Guinean company guaranteeing that Ivanhoe, your motto, we are guaranteeing that we give our auto Ivanhoe to ship it through your country? Do we have anything?
They are sister companies. The agreement that you before you
Minister, part of the question the senator is asking, we requested that in the communication, and those documents were not provided. So if you have it, you will submit it to the committee. In our order. No,
Honorable Chair.
Progress. You have the document, submit it to the committee.
Mine will be very brief. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was not here for the introduction, but those. My name is Senator Nyantoa, engineer from Dimba County, the lead campaigner for concession compliance. Let me, in my very short comment, state here there are two areas of concern for me that will, my vote would be a derivative of these two concerns. I'm passionate with them. I stated them before. I just wanted a few minutes to state them again. That the whole road, the road that Ivanhoe will be using to transport the oil between Tokadi, that is between Liberia and Guinea, that road must be paved. We will not pollute Nimba County with 200 trucks moving 150 miles per hour on a dusty road. This is $1 billion company. They can afford to do that road. It is 25 miles road, If I'm not making mistake, the last time we checked, they told us 25 million and I can pay 25 mile road. That road will have to be paid. We will have to see in the agreement, even if it is the communication of the working papers from the IMCC to them, that road will have to be paid. My second and last point here is the Community Development Fund. There's a clause, I'm trying to get it right in the agreement that suggests some kind of participation of the company in the implementation of that fund. No. Remove it from there. It stays with the county and the affected communities. These are the same problem we're facing with the 20% that MITA is implementing on our behalf. No. And they are negotiating to return it. Ivanhoe should have nothing to do with money they already pay for community development on CSR. No. We will not accept that. For me, those are my two passionate points. And lastly, where and how far are you now with the RSOP? Because that will be very much dependent on this process. We will not sit there and pass a deal when MITA and Ivanhoe are still fighting about how to operate the rail. And the IMCC is playing the referee role and keeping the plan on it to just see the agreement to pass and solve it. No, let's solve it before we pass the agreement. We are for this agreement. For me, I liked it. It's an access agreement. Once they're not taking anything from our county, but you pass it through, the environmental issue has to be resolved by paving out the other issues that I just spoke of. Mr. Chairman, I yield, and if they want to comment on that, I say, but those were my two comments.
Thank you.
Minister,
Let me
before you speak to that, in our meeting with you people, the same issue was raised, and we told you to take note of it, that this is a decision from the committee and the Senate. Did you interpret that or give up that information to members of the executive on the decision?
Mr. Chairman, yes. First, this road is subject to Ministry of Transport regulations. All road safety issues will be addressed on that road.
Before the commencement.
Yes. And as part of road safety issue, we deal with the capacity driving of the road. And I couldn't agree with Senator Nyantuan. I'm from the Western Belt. I saw what Western clusters did to our road. We don't want that kind of situation in Nimba. Albeit it is a dedicated road, but Liberia need to benefit more from some of these discussions and these negotiations. So we take that into consideration, and the road is subject to Transport Ministry regulations, and we ensure those regulations are in place.
So in answering to his question, that road will be paved. Is it a yes?
It's not in the agreement as is. It is, Senator, it should be a dedicated road. But it left with the Ministry of Transport at this point to do a regulations for that particular road and say we want this road paved. We had
an understanding, Minister, in our conversation that considering the Western Cluster scenario and what is happening in Yegepa, we are saying this road this time, any agreement for this particular road must be paved because they are using the road for 2 to 3 years to transport the old.
Information.
So can you tell us that you pass on that information that the road will be paved?
That information will pass on.
Let you answer the information.
That information was passed on. We ensure as part of Ministry of Transport regulatory requirement that the road is paved.
Can we place it in the agreement? Because
the Justice Ministry is there now. We got to go back. The negotiation with them now.
Can we get it in this agreement that you guys will pave that road? Because we're looking at what happened in Western Cluster.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say you have an opportunity to work on it like we have been working. This is something probably that can be, I don't know your protocol, how you do it at the legislature here. So
I would say that the executive on its own right now, or the RCC
information
can just sit there and say, oh yeah, we want to put it there.
Information.
It will require further negotiation.
My information is one. The ambiguity in any concession agreement always creates problems. It is strong in the MTA of Mita that as long as Mita shall provide housing facility. As a result, the growing container and other things, the housing facility. You were not clear. The second aspect has to do with the road from Ghana to Yegepa. They were not capturing the MBA. They were also between Mita and the government to pay that road. As we speak, the road has not been paid because they were not capturing the MBA. So, and you cannot force Mita one way or other. They say you do persuasive method. So, this what my police said, it should be strong in the law.
Okay, so the committee delivered that to you before and you pass on the message, so that's good.
Yes, I just want to.
My information is that you don't normally when you bring your document for ratification, we don't do the correction yet. We make our observation and tell you what are our expectations that drive our decision to ratify. It's left with you, but to say maybe, then you are driving up towards uncertainty. Observations that we are giving you are observations that are key to drive our decision. Talk about the pavement of the road, very key. And the issue of ensuring in this agreement 5-year cross review is very important. As a government, they're talking about you just indicated that you cannot find it.
No, it's there.
Please make sure every agreement you have that 5-year review clause. It's good for our country.
From one level to one level.
So can you answer the question the Senator asked, and then Senator Jala can now take the stand. After Senator Jala, then I'll put it from
I just want to interject quick, please, Honorable Chair. Senator Dillon requested that we give the committee a copy of the articles of incorporation, business registry, and tax clearance. I forwarded that to your WhatsApp.
And also the document turning over.
Yes, I have the letter from the LRA.
Turning over from HPX to Ivanhoe.
I'll send you all those documents, Senator. If you want, I can print it and send it to your office in such.
Please do. Can you do that?
I'll send you the soft
Please
copy.
print them, 30 copies, so that we can send it to the committee.
Okay, we'll do that. I just let you know.
Okay. So I will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, thank you so much. Let me start with where the left hand before I go to my own territory. You indicated that you did write. Yes, you indicated that you did inform the concessionaire that they should pave the road and will be traveling on. Am I correct?
Yeah, but some of that's open to negotiation. We have
I'm asking what
yes.
you say. You informed them?
Yes.
In what form or manner did you inform them? Did you go through writing or letter?
At that point, we are the legislature, so we have conversations with the concessionaire.
You see, people don't know sometimes you may not have to alter your agreement, but a signed letter are all documents that form part of the history of the concession. If you reject what you're ready to them, and they reply, yes, we can do it. You can keep those as part of the enforceable instrument in the future. So I will leave it there and leave it to your discretion to see that as an advantage.
Point taken, Senator. Point taken, sir.
There is something called just laws and decisions. The doctrine of just law and decisions seems to be dangling here. You have an agreement with Metals-T, AML. Now you are about to enter a new agreement without reference to the AML existing agreement. Okay? Now, there's a need for simultaneous equation. You have 3 people in the same area. You have the GOL, you have the Ivanhoe coming in, you have the AML. Now, the AML, you might be bringing an agreement for AML, but when we sign this agreement, it's untouchable at that point. Is it difficult for you to have a simultaneous equation where the 3 agreements can be landed, this one and the independent rail operator or act or law that you have been contemplating? These are the simultaneous equations I'm talking about. The independent rail operator, the AML, the Ivanhoe. Is it possible to line up together at the same time we do it together so that we look at each other, on the matrix? Question.
Senator, that's possible. But as we speak now, the RSOP for Angela Metan, we are looking at that document. We'll soon submit that to this body. The president has signed an executive order establishing the National Rail Authority. We are in the legal process of that to draft something to send to the legislature. All that is being worked on. I don't know the extent of spontaneity. I don't know the degree you want your question is referring to, but we believe in our mind that's spontaneous enough because everything is happening at one time. We are not leaving anything behind. It's just that this document was prepared before those other before the other thing can come before you. So we'll bring them to you in subsequent time, but they have been worked out. They have been worked on simultaneously.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you have a concern about whether or not the AML stuff was acknowledged or in this agreement, the AML agreement is recognized and acknowledged, and reference is made to it. If you look at the preamble, the whereas statement, it recognizes the rights pertaining to the AML agreement. As specifically as user operator of the rail infrastructure that is the subject of this discussion.
Yeah, but also, unfortunately, I know that who do not impose preambles.
It's part of it.
No, it's not part of the contract. Preamble is not impossible. It's a direct policy of preamble is not the code not interpret preamble. It's just a background information.
There is condition precedent. Let me just speak a little bit about other requirements that are obligatory on Ivanhoe under this concession agreement.
Okay.
If it is ratified, does it mean that the next day they can go and access the rail? No. They must execute and enter an arrangement with AML. They have rights. Yes, it is contained in this agreement.
Which provision?
It is on, I think, Article 2 or 3. The pre-commencement, the pre-commencement section, which might qualify as condition precedent.
Now let me remind you, based on what you just said, if that is not possible and that is not done, if that is not applicable and that is not done based on this agreement, do you know that it will attract a compensation from Metal Steel for being having a monopoly on this rail?
Say again.
The provision you say is there. If it is there, it's good. But if it is not there, don't you see this as attracting will trigger compensation?
From the side of the government?
No, from the side of the government to AML because they have the monopoly right now. They have the monopoly.
They have done investment, no dispute about that in the rail. From the initial stage, as a matter of fact, Ivanhoe will be required to pay some lease code to AML for use of the capacity that they will be using. Yes. But the pre-commencement activities require Ivanhoe, upon the consideration of this, upon the ratification of this concession and access agreement, to have an engagement probably governed by or spearheaded by the government with AML that will lead to the formal access of the rail. It is contained in the pre-commencement activity of the agreement.
Yeah, we'll get a provision that also can review that as we go ahead in the next couple of days. However, NIC, did you do investment? Did you calculate the investment return on this investment? NIC is required to calculate investment returns on each and every investment. Did you do that for this?
Oh, Senator, so the Minister of Finance, I think it was part of the analysis that the
That
Minister
tax
of
return,
Finance.
that tax regime. That tax regime is not sufficient.
Honorable Senator, the projected direct payments that we accrue from this investment, I think that was, it was not just taxes, we were looking at all of the direct payments and some of the indirect payments. And that's what was projected by the Minister of Finance.
Yeah, there's a way to calculate the investment returns on the investment so that you know exactly the gains as you go along. But it's important to do that because you're going to be coming here with more of this agreement.
Sure.
And it will be good for you to independently demonstrate there's an investment return calculated beyond the tax regime. The reason why we calculate tax regime is to bring about stability in their tax payments so that even when the tax law changes, it will not affect them.
Senator Jara.
Yes.
Section 4.3 tells us the concerns that I was talking about. It is captioned conditions to track assets and commencement date. That whole section deals with
4.3 on our HPX?
Yeah, the HPX agreement.
HPX or
Page 5.
Okay.
Page 31.
Some
adjustments were made in, so I don't know whether the page might still be the one, I hope, but it's condition to track assets and commencement date.
Okay. In the interest of time, I will yield for others to ask questions. But take note of those things because you will be coming with other agreements.
Sure.
And those questions will be residual.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
So let me just
come in. Transfer, Minister.
Yes.
The Senator asked about the RSOP. You did not speak to that. Can you complete that, please?
Yeah, we are working on the RSOP now. Is
the RSOP?
Yes.
For which agreement?
Okay, so the RSOP will be is the real agreement, the real standard operating principles.
So when do we receive that?
I can definitely give a time frame now, but we are almost at completion. So we believe that by the time you come back for your next section, it will be before you.
The RSOP.
The RSOP is being worked on.
So do you want us to pass this agreement before the RSOP comes?
Yes.
Yes.
RSOP, I know it's not a signatory.
It's now a signatory.
It's an addendum to the ArcelorMittal.
Yeah, it is an addendum or appendix to the AML agreement.
No, the real operation of, we want an RSOP for the real, not an RSOP for Meta or for Ivanhoe.
No, it's not. It's to govern all third parties.
Yes, that's what we want. We want something that governs all third party users.
Yes.
So when do we receive that?
So, Senator, the RSOP, like you said, is an appendix to AML.
Chief, excuse me. This committee is the RSOP is for the real. In fact, to have this conversation, we should have the National Rail Authority established.
Agreed.
But it's not established.
Yes.
Okay, because of the executive order, we still follow with the understanding that the president make a statement on the motor user. So based on that, we move ahead. But how do we pass on this agreement without the RSOP?
The RSOP is only for 5 years. The remaining term.
What we're saying, the RSOP govern this valley.
Yes.
This is not it's a transportation valley.
Precisely, Senator.
Yeah. So that's simple.
Yeah.
When do we receive it?
You're receiving very Senator, we are working on the RSOP. We had our last discussion with ArcelorMittal, right? On Thursday. And there were some issues they had and we had issues too. And we have compromised and reached a point that we believe a first draft will be submitted very soon to you.
Okay. So when? Because we're also looking at time frame when we have to close. because your proposal, you want us to pass this before we close. We haven't received the RSOP. How do we take a decision in the absence of the RSOP? Or do we rule out everything and just wait for the RSOP?
No, certainly we need to pass this because.
So can you bring the RSOP tomorrow?
No, it is still in negotiation. It's not tied to this. It's not tied. It's not tied to this. Senator Joseph, RSOP.
No. I should have to make a follow-up. Somebody make a statement, they need to make a follow-up on it. No, I'm done. I just want to make sure where is the RSOP coming.
It is still in negotiation.
Senator, you are chairman of my committee.
You own the committee.
No, you are chairman of my committee. I submit to you. Discussions, we can have those discussions. Maybe you will see your copy before you meet.
Mr. Minister,
yes, sir.
You and your chairman will discuss that later.
But you see, there's all discuss that I'm recognizing that.
No, you recognize.
Go ahead.
Interministerial Council. I have two serious issues, only two, and just quick answers to them that will determine my decision to vote for or against this agreement. Number one, you have told this committee in this public hearing that Ivanhoe is registered and have office in Liberia. You signed an agreement with the company, you brought it to the House of Senate to ratify. Mr. Minister of Justice, please look on page 11. Page 11 of the agreement that you sent to us. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm at page 11.
Please read the address of the company that you sent, that you signed agreement with and send it to the Senate to ratify. Please read the address that you mentioned in there. Please read it loud to us.
IVN, is it the second to the last paragraph?
The second to the last.
IVN controlling pricing at the definition page. IVN means Ivanhoe Atlantic, a company incorporated in Delaware, United States of America, company number 5012509, with its registered address at 251 Little Falls Drive, Wilmington, Delaware, is the parent company. And specifically here, we talk about
every controlling person's address is in this draft agreement.
On the definition page.
Where is nothing of the company's address mentioned in the document?
It is there.
Locally.
If you look at the agreement itself, the concession agreement, concession access agreement, as I indicated earlier, is executed between the Republic of Liberia, which is the government, Ivanhoe Liberia Limited, formerly known as Euro Nima Liberia Limited. Yes, incorporated Liberia with its registered address at 9th Street and Cheeseman Avenue, and if I is Ivanhoe Liberia or the company, and the French name of the company, and now I will try to talk to society denies the
Because of time.
So it is contained in the agreement you have before you.
My last concern.
So the address is there, the company name.
My last concern. You told us that during the framework agreement or framework, this company between 2019 to 2022
gave $37 million to Liberia. Can you, if I'm misquoting or saying something wrong, please
We
correct me.
confirm that payments were made to the government of Liberia between 2019 and 2022. The first payment was $7 million, the subsequent was 30 million.
I was not in the Senate 2019, but up to 2022, I was a member of this Senate. And to my recollection, this money never came to the people of Liberia through the national budget to be passed upon by the expenditure or distribution to be passed on by the House of Senate. Please convince me, why should I ratify a document that is making reference to a money that the Senate never saw in national budget to ratify that document? Convince me.
I also allow the minister to answer, and you can get information to your colleagues.
Yeah.
Honorable Senator, under our PFM law, the Public Financial Management Law, the Act, payments accruing to the government of Liberia supposed to be deposited into our general revenue account. The Minister of Transport submitted to you that there are receipts and transmitters that evidence that indeed the money was remitted to the Central Bank of Liberia. Government, let me finish, Honorable Senator.
Yeah.
Government being government continuity, just like you, we assumed the mantle of power last year.
So
we were not disowned and
Minister,
yes.
Minister,
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, colleague.
Yeah.
Minister,
Yes.
when you the first preference here
It's the senator.
the senator.
I use.
So you give the senator the opportunity when you want to interject in your statement that you
I use. Sorry, Senator Smith.
what I'm saying, I know that the government is continuity, but any amount of money certain government managed to get it, no reference to the legislature. At the end of the day, they say, oh, when we were in power, we get so and so amount of money, so because government continuity, and now you bring the us when we don't have any trace of how that money was expended on behalf of the people of Liberia, and you say, I must vote to legalize or document that is making reference to such money. Please claim it on that.
Senator,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Senator, if I can come in quick. First, we've established from the executive that the $37 million hit the central bank account. Central bank has collaborated that. We have all of the documentation thereof.
In national budget.
But the national budget, you cannot blame the company for your national budget now. We know that the money came to the central bank. We can only establish that. What happens is what happened after that, our internal process as a country, we can deal with that. But unequivocally, factually, we have documents from the central bank, from international banks, and from all indications thereof. In 2019, there was a $7 million payment. In 2022, there was a payment of $30 million. So, I mean, we have a legal process. There was a government in place. We can only acknowledge what came to Liberia. On the PFM law, it came to the necessary account. What happens, then that's an issue we can handle nationally among us.
So we must sign a document now to legalize.
I mean, Justice Ministry is here, they can see when they will do. Justice Ministry is here, they can see what
we cannot suggest anything. This body has oversight responsibility. So,
Thank you.
We want to thank the executive for
You know what I
this.
said today? I attended me for the family. It was 3 hours now.
Working executive for this agreement, it is very important to our mineral sector, not only because of the assets we are granting them, but it has impact of what we do with Wologisi. One of the issues we face with Wologisi is accessibility. One of the options those of us that have been in the mineral sector we have been looking at is to help the old to Simadu, because it's closer. It's 140 kilometers to Simadu. So we can easily connect to Simadu and carry our auto, the city, Oribaya, Foot, so this thing gives us an opportunity. This agreement gives the opportunity for us to start looking at that possibility seriously. Nevertheless, I have a few questions to ask. So employment of say 400 direct jobs. Did you state in the agreement what percent of the top management jobs would be occupied by the agreement?
So, Senator Chief, Ivanhoe country head is a Liberian associate. There is local content provided for in the agreement. And as a hub of liberalization from the transport side, we ensure that having what document actually calls for that. Associate, the head of Ivanhoe is Mr. Henry King, who is a Liberian. So you talk about top leadership, the head of country now is a Liberian. The head of the entity in Liberia is a Liberian.
Just answer my question.
Yes, sir.
What percent of the top management will be occupied by Liberia? That would be the case. It's good that one collaborates there now, but what percent because of top management?
So let me check quick my notes and I'll answer that. But I know
why you are looking at that.
I know specifically
why you are looking at that.
of.
I will ask the next question.
Thank you.
So we saw the structure for transit fees, asset fees, income figures, Assistant Minister of Finance. How did you derive at the rate for all these fees? That's 10 cents per ton, for example, for transit fees. How do you derive at that?
Thank you, Senator. We look at the total volume, or the tons, that will be transited through.
No, I don't want how much we get. That's 10 cents. How do you divide that is? That one. It will be 20 cents, it will be 30 cents, it will be 5 cents. How do you divide that 10 cents? What is one for us to?
Like, if you look at it, it's an annual scale. And then we look at the company, the first years of production, and whereas we take the volume into consideration.
Please, you don't
I'm answering the question.
How did you divide that? It's 10 cents per ton. And not 20 cents, not 25 cents, not 50 cents. How did you divide that? 10 cents. The question is.
That is what I'm saying. We are looking at their production. Their production, at the initial stage. And then going down the scale, we know that at the initial stage, the production, will not be that much. It will be between, 1 million maybe to 2 million tons. So we decided at the initial stage, but we have, the fees is a fixed fee. So let make things clear here. The transit fee is a fixed fee. It's 10 cents of, every ton of iron ore that is shipped through Liberia. That is fixed. Now, the access fee.
No. Transit fee. How you got it 10 cents? Now here, somebody can help you.
They meet all that negotiated.
Okay.
I think if my memory serves
All right.
transshipment, as I said earlier, is an international.
Nationally accepted rules. And the tariff of the Republic of Nigeria got a clear definition of transshipment rules. Then you are saying that you apportion 10 cents. But when it comes to transshipment nomenclature, how do you apply it to a goose? Because the entire whole account is a goose.
Senator? Yeah. Okay, so few things. Your first question was on the senior management position. Yeah.
Can you answer?
Yes. So section 13.1 clearly states, and that's the I section of 13.1, that 50% of their senior management position in 5 years will go to Liberians, and 70% of their senior management position in 10 years will go to Liberians.
Thank you.
So that is covered in the agreement. As for the fee structure, okay, so in the first 5 years, the actual fee is $2.05 per metric ton, the total fee. 10 cents plus $1.95 per metric ton. Besides custom users fees. I'm coming.
I understand. I understand fees, 10 cents.
Yeah. So how did we derive that?
Yeah.
That was the negotiated amount we have with Ivanhoe. We negotiated that. So that was the negotiation.
I'm not negotiation, but there has to be a basis for negotiation.
Yeah, the basis, if I may speak, the Revenue Code of Nigeria, Section 21, gave the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning the right to set fees. And it is based on that.
Order. Well, let's finish. No, according to order.
The Revenue Code of Nigeria, Section 21, gave the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning the right to set fees. And the Ministry of Finance, as a member of the IMCC, like the Ministry of Transport said, during our negotiation, came up with this agreement. And we also have to look at the difference between what Senator Koga is talking about and this, if it comes, to transshipment. Transshipment, under the guide of international trade, as it relates to goods, is a little bit different from this regime, Senator Koga. So, no, it's not Senator Koga regime. I'm talking about transshipment regime under the World Trade Organization, goods transaction, and that of the yes.
Don't do that here. You can't, when you shut him at the senator, you can't do that.
I don't know a simple question.
You understand? It's a simple question.
What the basis
Senator,
for the
just
text
take the time, you answer.
Don't confuse us because we are over. I'm a real agreement. If I feel that I'm just being cheated, how do you counter that? So the question, if I'm not royalty, I'll ask Einstein why you're 63%. And look at me why 60%. Why? So I'm asking you, I said 10 cents per ton. Not 20 cents, not 25 cents, not 30 cents. Why 10 cents?
Senator, I'm sorry for my loud voice, but I actually was not shouting at the senator. I don't intend to do that. I'm very sorry. No, I'm very sorry for that. I'm sorry if my loud voice, don't like a shouting. I'm sorry. So, we look at the volume.
What will get 10 cents? How many run at 10 cents?
We are looking at the overall cost of the company, and then we are also taking into consideration the volume of the whole, that is being shipped.
Let's say no, let me break it down.
No, it's not because it's plenty. We are looking at their overall cost. Based on that, we negotiated on this.
You decide to look at the first question because
Minister, if you
what determines how much you get in. You can confuse us why you say 10 cents.
Understood.
Understood. If you need time to do research, let us know.
Senator.
Minister,
Yeah, what I mean.
the 10 cents is the middle of the road. Where you started the journey from? Where they started before you all settle on 10 cents?
Yeah. I'll let NRC answer that.
So I think the minister actually provided, or as a senator, some basics. The transit fee is actually coming from the market. The transit fee is actually coming from what you call transshipment. And like you said, on our revenue report, there are transshipment fees that are paid by the different transport of goods and services between the two countries. Now, if you look at how this agreement was structured, initially, in fact, there should not even be a separate fee from access and transit fee. Those two fees should have been one. But again, the government decided. It should have been, okay, good. So if you add the transit fee plus the access fee, it gives you the amount of metric tons. And how much is that? That's around $2 for that.
What you did?
Look, is there anywhere in the world?
Yeah.
Where they do
Sure.
we look at
products.
Yeah, we look at other regimes.
Where?
We look at on top of my head. Senator, permit me, I can come back. But there were 3 or 4 other countries. We had a financial consultant. I mean, it's very well known in Liberia. It's called IPN. So we used a big. We asked him to do a comparison between Liberia and other countries. I think there is this Lobito corridor where there is a transit fee. We look at Australia. So there were 4 or 5 models, and I'm willing to share that with you.
That's the basic.
Sure,
we look at Ministry of Finance Authority to set there was 0.00
there were comparisons with other countries, other jurisdictions. There were 4 or 5, and it was on those basis. Then we were able to actually negotiate that amount. I'm willing to share that with you. Okay.
Minister of Justice. What's the relationship between Euro-NIMA and Ivanhoe? Euro-NIMA. I want the entities that use Euro-NIMA and Ivanhoe.
Can they allow me to continue to use the word successor? I think Ivanhoe is a successor to Euro-NIMA. That's why even in the agreement it is stated there, Ivanhoe formerly known as Euro-NIMA. So the need kept evolving.
No longer exists.
As per this, as per the provision, no, they don't exist. They exist through Ivanhoe now.
So Ivanhoe had.
It's a formally. If you look at the.
Ivanhoe had 2 formal names, HPX and Euro-NIMA.
It's permitted.
See, that's what the free guarantee business company again.
Yeah.
All the Ivanhoe, Liberia, Euro-NIMA, this thing. Who do we hold responsible when something goes wrong?
Ivanhoe, Liberia, and
It's not paper company. We just they just incorporated it. It doesn't have. I mean, so who formed Ivanhoe?
The parents. It's incorporated Ivanhoe Atlantic.
But Mr. Minister, can you please give us the succession? Who are the first? Who are the second?
Unless you permit me to go do research. I know the one that I know, that's why I reference here, Euro-NIMA, and we'll talk about HPX, and we'll talk about Ivanhoe. If you want to go back, as long as...
Why is it changing from one thing to the other every day?
Let me tell you this.
I'm not saying but I'll some people can use it.
Yeah, so many reasons companies do that. Individuals do that. For tax purposes, for different reasons. Sometimes ownership change,
You know, shareholding change, and some people don't just like the name anymore for so many other reasons. It might not be the failure.
So they do, and you carry on your due diligence
on Ivanhoe.
All the names are everywhere.
We are satisfied with this arrangement. That's why we are before you. That's why the submission was made to you.
Senator Chairman, if I could come in.
Yes.
On November 2013, the LRA recognized Ivanhoe Liberia Limited as the second highest contributor overall in silver in 2022 for tax payment. Yes.
What were they?
2013? 2022.
What were they paying? With taxes?
They were paying, okay, so I can read they were paying taxes at the time under the framework agreement. The point I'm making, it's very important. The point I'm making with this is to say the company have changed names over and over. On the due diligence we did, these are all legitimate. On the due diligence we did, this company paid taxes to the government from the onset to now. We are here as an executive imploring, begging your indulgence and imploring to you to pass this agreement because it's in the interest of our country. It's in the interest for job creation, direct job of 400.
You are saying that
Senator information. Yeah. So Ivanhoe over the years have also engaged in a lot of other activities in the industry. We're doing environmental assessment, ESIA. They're also doing a feasibility study related to the corridor and the port. They've hired different expertise in this country. And so I think it's more of a even the port design, the road design, the ESIA, the feasibility studies. So there's a lot of other activities that Ivanhoe is involved with.
Okay, my last question. Don't talk to us on Liberty Corridor.
Yeah.
It was a big
$5 billion
from Guinea to out to the Atlantic coast. Liberty Corridor. It was 3 to 5 billion project. Talk to us about it. Where are we?
Liberty Corridor is still alive. Liberty Corridor is still alive, Senator. So, in the first phase of Ivanhoe agreement, like we said, they are going to be shipping. If you look at the production schedule, they're going to be shipping between 2, 3, and at most up to 5 million metric tons. At phase 2, they cannot continue. An existing rail cannot handle the production or the shipment, both from Utah and Ivanhoe. It will require expansion of that existing rail. You know, under that expansion, there you're talking about creating the Liberty Corridor. Because at that point, you'll be seeing up to 40 million or 50 million metric tons per annum. So we still believe the Liberty Corridor is
Thank
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chairman. The transport minister. By the answer you gave concerning the environmental issue, the road network in Lima County, does that mean that we cannot pass this agreement? No. Your answer was there's not insurance into the document that was brought before us because Senator Twine said he won that vote if. And you said even in the Western Belt, Western Cluster did not do the right thing. And so you said it would be your interest to see that that road is paid. So since it is not in the agreement, does that mean that we cannot pass the agreement?
Well, the Western Cluster Road and the road we are talking about are two different roads. The Western Cluster Road is an international road, built in the 70s, and it's an usual transport road. But this road is a dedicated haulage road.
So because it is a dedicated
No. But I'm coming. I'm laying the basis.
No, just wait. You will continue after Does that mean that because it is a haulage road, so it cannot be paid?
That's not what I said.
If you embarrass the people of Lima where they also take over the entire place that will be environmental issues, all over the place.
I did not say not because it's a college weekend big. We will want to see it big. We, the executive, have presented a document. In that document, it calls for the dust suppressant to be on the road. And that would be a surfactant that will bind the lateral together, so dust will not be around. There have been ESRA done.
It's written in the agreement.
It's written in the agreement that there will be a dedicated college road to be built. And that the building of that road is subject to MOT regulations and requirements. It's clearly stated there.
You know, I come from the Western Belt, like you said, and there was an agreement that the Interministerial Council came to defend the year. And then I was not in the Senate, and he said if they gave the company or the concession 3 years to haul that truck, and the very initial year that they will start hauling, they will pave the road from Tottenham to Mana River Congo. Up to present, it is not done. Western Council have taken all the ore from here. They didn't went past there. And nothing has been done. Today you are before us again. And we are saying that that road should be tarred. It is not in the agreement. How can we hold you by that?
Well, the agreement calls for review in 5 years.
So in 5 years we'll be tossing our people over?
No. I was clear in the way the road will be built. It's a special equipment, a special chemical. It's called the surfactant that binds the lateral together. I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. You have those same things in Australia, you have them in South Africa, you have these mining roads. Mind you again, this is only a transshipment agreement, and that road is specifically for movement of resources from Guinea to Yeke Palace. That's the only thing that road is used for, or will be used for. It will not be used for anything else for now, because they are building the road from Lola, which is 18 kilometers into Liberia, and another 25 kilometers on the road of the
international road. From Lola, you get to 2. I said, the international road. Let me just continue with you, because this is very key. I was in a meeting. Honorable Minister, I was in a meeting with you. I was in a meeting with you, and we discussed this in-house, and you accepted, and today up to present, nothing has been done. So it means that you will not do the road. Because you are saying that you will suppress the dogs, you will do that, but it's not written in the agreement that you will do this, you will do that. How do you suppress it? And so at the end of the day, you will tell all the lawmakers here that we pass the agreement. Now the interest of the people and the company shall have left, nothing will benefit from road and the rest of it. So I would say, in my mind, those things that we talk here and cutting, and you did not implement them up to present. I have no guarantee that you will implement them. Because even those agreements that we have, and the implementation, the executive should ensure they have not been implemented for everybody annual lawmakers. All the concessions in the country. You say fine. You talk the talk, but to walk the walk is difficult. So for me, I would say NEMA is not already happy already. You hold the 2 NEMA senators. And they are, you're going to use that sword. So those are 2 important things that you need to do. Please go and do it. With the agreement, that just access to giving them, I need support. But those are basic things that need to happen, and then you have my support. So I'm going to challenge you.
Thank you, Senator Bajikwa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you. My very few, thank you. Indeed, as other senators have said, our country needs partners that will impact our revenue and create employment opportunity. The only discussions we're having with you here is to address issues that will enhance the partnership that we are forging with the institution that is being discussed. And my concerns really are rooted from experiences we had in the past. I'm chair on concession and judiciary. We passed many agreements here. And the experiences we have from those agreements. For instance, you talk about direct employment. You say we will have about 400 direct employment. What is the guarantee that Ivanhoe tomorrow will not hire a contracting employment agency that will be contracting all the jobs out as Doma, all the other concessions. Everything here is what you brought to us that we did, and today, how they call Wesley, Cluster, Chico, China Union, all of them have only employment agency. Like Western Cluster said, only 2 Liberians from all the Zobo they have, only 2 Liberians they have as employment. Even though you came and say exactly what it is concerned in this agreement. So what is the guarantee that indeed this company will not behave like the way we are behaving? The others are behaving.
Well, Senator, in Section 13 of the agreement, it's pointed. I've read many of those agreements from the past that you are talking about, but specifically, that's why we put those particular language in there to give Liberian jobs of authority, not just jobs. So a 50% of the in the first 5 years, 50% of the leadership are Liberians. In 10 years, 70% of the leadership are Liberians. That's enough guarantee and safeguards. Besides the multiple inspections from the Bureau of Concession, Labor, and everybody that do on concession, that's enough guarantee to ensure that Liberians is at leadership and Liberians at the helm. How can Liberians be at the helm of leadership and then choose to not hire their own people? I don't think that's the case with this agreement. We took some time to make sure that the localization content of this agreement is well enshrined in that.
So,
So just to add to that, Honorable Senator, that then imposes a duty on all of us, both the legislature and the executive, to ensure that what is contained in these agreements are indeed honored. How are they done? You have a mechanism for review by the executive. You have your oversight responsibility. You have to ensure that, look, this review, are they being done like they're supposed to be done? You will have to hold us answerable to you to ensure that NBC and the relevant stakeholders are doing, Ministry of Labor, they are doing what is supposed to be done as provided for by this agreement. Because the concessionaire might not be interested in executing what is contained in there if you don't put their feet to the fire. So it's a collective responsibility. This is how we see it. The safeguards are what are enshrined in the agreements, or the implementation, it becomes a responsibility. The onus is on all of us as a people.
So, it brings me to the second point, the local content. Can you look at all of the responsibilities or programs that the people will implement after this agreement is granted and ensure that the necessary safety guides are erected to ensure that things that Liberians are supposed to do should not be given to people that are outside, people from outside. All jobs that Liberians have the capacity to do cannot be given out. Can that be erected in the agreement?
Senator, specifically, we think that is erected in the agreement. The first thing, in good faith, the head of Ivanhoe Liberia, as we speak, is a Liberian. That is the first sign we think that they will abide by this agreement. But like the Minister of Justice said, the agreement calls for review in 5 years. Right? If they are not following this agreement, we can say these are the issues that we sign, and you must do. It left all of us, the Bureau of Concession, all the entities in government to hold the fee, to hold the concessionary fee to the fire. And we believe that this agreement, over and I can say this again, this agreement addresses all of that. The first portion is, in the first 5 years, 50% of the most senior position will be for Liberians. In 10 years, 70% of the most senior position will be for Liberians. And we will show just that. In our review process, the executive will do just that. Thank you.
All that way, all agreement. Okay, so to conclude, I would really advise that, as you indicated, of course, the 5 years will be crossed, and for make sure that is conspicuously indicated, so that should there be any failure, my concern also is there should be another clause, compliance failure penalty actions that will be carried out should there be compliance failure. There are other complaints, and so you get a concession, they leave. You go on the world trade market, stock market, to go look for money, 5, 6, 7 years, you don't see them anymore. All of these failures should have some remedies, actions that will be taken against such company.
Honorable Senator,
yeah.
You were talking as if you were there and were having these deliberations. That's why we made provision for late penalty. Late penalty as defined in the definition section of the agreement. Make provision for penalties to attach every 6 months if you're supposed to do something and if you fail to do it. Initially it's 500,000 for the first 6 months. If you fail to do it again for another 6 months, it doubles to $1 million, and it goes on. And under that arrangement, we will have the latitude to even terminate it because of the failure to have performed certain. So we have seen some improvement in our agreement. We mimic or borrow from some of the stuff that was done before, that we look at and say, oh, this agreement, yes, it was done yesterday. Was it sufficiently adequate to address all our concerns? If it was, we say, okay, we will improve on some of the areas that were deficient. So that's what we are doing. We will do it. You're not going to have a perfect agreement, but what we can tell you, this agreement is okay, and it's not honestly taking anything massive from us. Instead, it is bringing something to us on account of the usage of our asset that is there, that is being used by one entity. And we say, when we're debating this, we say more is better. Any incremental income or revenue that we can get as a people will go in a long way in helping us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
You go back again. Okay, the just short issue. It's short or long? Short. I don't see any local content component when it comes to the transportation. On ground that the mine is in Guinea. Of course, yeah, listen, it's in Guinea. The trucking. Every I don't call you or no, you already then for imposition of tax we have to do with transshipment. It means that they are paying penalty for the goods that leave from different countries to pass through Liberia. So the transportation, the trucking, Liberia will not benefit. It is the Guinean, because if they insist that we have the port and also will provide transportation, you can say no.
So that will be clear when you give information to the public. And then the issue that has to do with the transshipment issue, we need to address it seriously.
Noted. Thank you. You want to comment on that?
No. You're confessing.
Senator, I was clear in my comment, Senator Koga, that but transportation across border is subject by Minister of Transport regulations.
Mr. Minister,
yeah.
We don't have time in our favor. Okay, then we'll so let's move forward. Okay, so Minister,
yes.
Did the government of Liberia review the agreement between HPX or the SMSG between the two companies? Have you seen the agreement between HPX and the government of Guinea?
SMFG.
Have you seen the agreement?
SMFG has an agreement with the Guinean government.
Have you, Melvin?
Yes, sir.
What I'm asking you?
Yes.
Whether you saw the agreement that was signed between them?
Yes. We should have a copy of that.
Yeah?
We should have a copy.
We should have a copy of that.
We should have a copy. I think it's
we don't have a copy.
We'll send you a copy of it.
We have
So you send it?
Yeah, we'll send you a copy.
Because that gave us the opportunity to know that this is a commitment. You understand? We can't just come up to give them a concession of 25 years. Why 25 years? Why? Why you chose 25 years? Why the negotiation led to 25 years?
Thank you very much, Senator. Normally for mining contracts,
This is not a mining contract.
there is an exercise related to a mining contract in Guinea.
Minister, this is not a mining contract. Our agreement is not signed based on their agreement. Our agreement is signed based on Liberia and the company. I'm asking why you chose 25 years.
Yes, before he addresses our own Senator, let me say this. Our agreement is based on implementation agreement.
Yeah.
So to say it is not based on the agreement there, without that agreement, we cannot have an access agreement.
But we don't have the agreement. So how do we, that's why I asked you earlier.
The requirement, the fundamental requirement under the implementation agreement is first, the Guinean mining operator or mineral operator must first secure a license in Guinea. They must request eligibility, they must do eligibility request. And that eligibility request will confirm that indeed, yes, they have applied to get mining license, they have mining license, and they are eligible now to request access agreement in Liberia.
You're talking about the implementation agreement?
Yes, everything without the implementation agreement will not be here.
I come in. Did the committee ever met the interministerial committee of Guinea?
That's not a requirement. It is not a requirement. You rely on section 9 in the implementation agreement. The interministerial committee will meet if a request for access agreement was denied. If it was denied, then pursuant to that agreement, the interministerial committee session.
Minister, the implementation agreement says when before an access is granted, the interministerial committee must meet. Should have met. Don't go to Article 9. Okay.
Senator, quickly, I just sent you a copy of the agreement of HPX.
Listen, Minister, one of those documents were requested for you. Are you sending it to me by WhatsApp?
It's in the package. It was in the 30-page.
No, it's not there. It's not there. Yes, it's not there.
No, that's not all. It was
what you submitted to us is that all we got. They submitted a package.
Yes.
The package you submitted is not inside.
No, that was not it. I submitted 30 boxes. It was a big box.
No, they're not bad. They're not what we received.
I can check with that.
You check it out. The one we received, they're not here. What you showed us here the last time,
yes,
they're not what we received. What we showed us was bigger than what we received. Yeah, you need to check it out because we're even concerned about that. So we need a agreement between Guinea and the company in Guinea.
Okay,
we need that.
We'll submit that.
Okay. So why you checking? Can you answer why you chose the 5 or 25 years?
Can I go ahead now?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, I tried to live when I spoke of mining contracts. The access to Liberia grows out of a mining contract in Guinea. So without a mining contract in Guinea, there would be no need to ask for access, which is a means of conveying the ore that is mined in Guinea through Liberia. Now, on that basis, even if we took Liberia as a country, contracts have a time frame of not more than 25 years. Because you need to have that guarantee to evacuate the ore, upon which you can then raise the necessary funding and do the necessary planning.
I'm asking you the question whether you saw the agreement in Guinea, because the Guinean agreement gave HPX 5 million tons per year. But then in Liberia, we gave them 30 million tons. So that's why I'm asking whether you people saw the agreement in Guinea before coming up to sign or negotiate this agreement.
Okay, so Honorable, can I sort of provide a bit of information between the 5 million tons and 30 million tons we're talking about?
Yeah.
So the initial first phase is up to 5 million tons. All right? That is up to 2030. There is not a fixed 30 million ton guarantee in black and white data after 2030.
The 5 million ton is up to 2030.
Yes.
So when are they to start? When does this, if this agreement is passed today, when do you start to count?
By first quarter next year, we start to count, because when the agreement is passed today.
So when you start to count before having access or after you have the access?
Now, this is how it works.
Yeah.
With reference to the Second Amendment of ArcelorMittal, there is a provision for third-party use. Now, we have to have the access granted to this company, and then there will be a memorandum of understanding with the government of Liberia, Ivanhoe, and ArcelorMittal to grant access to the rail, actual access to the rail. Now, that access to the rail is not because you grant that access today they put all of the infrastructure on the rail. There has to be additional work that needs to be done. There has to be studies.
So this is what I'm asking you.
So to give you exactly a time frame to say by tomorrow
or next week, because you have a review clause of 5 years. If we pass the concession today or this agreement today, when do we start to count? Are we counting from 2026 year 1? We said they don't have access yet because they want to take few years to work on the road.
Okay.
To pave the road may take you 1 or 2 years. So when do you start to count? That's what I'm asking you.
Okay, with reference to the agreement, you start to count from the effective date of the agreement. As it did, for instance, with ArcelorMittal. When we granted ArcelorMittal the concession, they did not start mining. They had to mobilize and everything. But when it came to time to review, we review from day 1 of that concession agreement to 5 years. Okay. So the 5 years period is the time frame between the effective date and the 5th anniversary.
Because they are saying in the agreement, they will have access to the agreement first before they commit to certain amount of money to the rail authority. You understand? So the agreement is not just something that is commit them. Another thing what they did is that they are telling you during your negotiation that the 37 million they previously paid, if this agreement is not passed as of March, we should pay back the money.
When the money did not reach us.
You understand? So that's why I'm asking the question, when do you start to come? Because what they did clearly, it is stated within the agreement that you should pay the money at this time when you don't fulfill your point. That if we don't ratify this agreement, so they're telling us that we should pay back that money. Granted, it is true the minister submitted the bank's document that the money arrived in the central bank. You understand? We don't have any other details here. The committee will discuss that. What I'm saying, but they are telling us that if we don't have access, we will return back the 37 million. So when do they start to count the years for the agreement?
Immediately after the effective date. And what constitutes effective date on this agreement? Effective date means the agreement is ratified, is signed by the president and published in the handbook. It's effective. As all our other laws.
Is this stated again?
It is. It's there.
All concessions agreement has that.
Chief, I want it there.
Oh, they know it's there.
Yes.
It's there. All the concessions that all laws carried out, signing by the executive, ratification by the legislature, approval by the president, and publications into handbook. All of them.
So in our letter to you that you never responded to, we also requested for proof of funds.
Oh, they never responded.
No responded, we brought.
No. We wrote you an official communication that please respond to this issue. Yeah. You never did that until you came for the hearing. So that's what I want to say.
After the hearing, we submitted the documents.
So I just want that, Chief Minister. What I asked also for proof of funds. We also requested for proof. Of course, we should request it.
Yeah, but Senator,
we're not going to give a company a document to go and go receive money, go look for money, and ask for proof of funds. That's an international standard for concession. Yeah, we should request for proof of funds.
Senator, there was a besides the mining part, there was the financial piece to this agreement. Every document you ask for,
what's the financial piece?
We have shared that with you, Senator.
No, we don't have any financial.
There's a fiscal regime that we have shared with you.
We requested for financial matter. We did not receive financial matter, Minister. Of course, we did not.
Yeah, okay, I'll resend those documents. But I know your people signed for the document. I was here at the Capitol meeting. There were boxes.
You wanted the article that gives the effective date.
Well, everything will share with you.
It's Article 2. 2.1 specifically deal with effective date. 2.1. Article 2. Example. Term of the agreement 2.1 is besides the effective date. The term of the agreement.
So you get the agreement there, you get the implementation agreement there.
The implementation agreement.
Go to Article 5.5.
5.5. I'm prepared for
General gets strong.
General's doing your baby.
No.
5.5.
Yeah.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Following the examination of any request for access. Following the examination of any request for access, let Russia inform the requesting mining operator and the monitoring committee of the outcome of the examination of the request for access.
Have you consult with the monitoring committee established under the implementation agreement?
Liberians did communicate with the mining operator, SMFG.
Do you have copy of that communication?
Yeah, the Minister of Transport wrote here with this.
No.
Yes. Chief, I share it with you. I think I still have a
the letter you sent here was.
I have a copy of the Minister Samuel Wu letter to this mining operator.
Minister.
Yes.
When did we sign the implementation agreement? When was the implementation agreement signed?
The It was ratified.
The last implementation agreement between Liberia and Guinea, when was it signed?
Let me just see the date of ratification. May 6, 2021.
2021.
Yes.
Okay.
And
well, here's the issue now.
Yeah.
Good. What we are asking you, what we previously said to you, can you get us, there's a new administration. Can you give us just a common letter? The previous administration that you had this conversation with sent you a letter. This is a new administration that took over, bounding all previous document that is signed, that was signed. We're asking you now, give us a new document indicating that we consent to this agreement, we're going to go forward with it a while. That's the commitment we want, just a single letter. Have you done that?
Senator, we are following the letter of
no, we can't follow the 2010 letter.
No, I'm talking about the letter of the implementation agreement. The implementation agreement is clear and prescribed how things are supposed to be done. The Guinean man
everybody want to conclude, then we can call the hearing for another day. I have to exhaust the issue for the report. Yeah, we can do it. Okay.
So, the fundamental requirement under the implementation agreement is first the eligibility requirement must be met. If that is fulfilled, then the access requirement is done.
Minister, we communicated there in the consultative meeting with people. Can you please get us a letter of consent for this new administration?
That's a new
Is it possible?
That's a new requirement you impose.
No, it's in it.
No, you are imposing that.
No. This is the article. It's in the agreement. It's in the framework agreement that you have been putting. Article 5.5 of the implementation agreement. Before Liberia move forward, the implementation committee in Guinea must be on consent with you. You haven't done that. That's what we requested. Just a note. The letter you have is the letter from the previous administration. You understand? After the implementation agreement was signed, we want there's a new government in Guinea. There's a new government in Liberia. You cannot get one single letter.
Senator, I think we've answered this particular question. The Guinean have never indicated to us that they would negotiate on this agreement.
Because that one is a hearing we conduct here. When I call you to order, you must listen. You have to listen. We're asking you for document that we previously discussed. Can you get it? You need to get it. This is a government, that's a government. Can you get the document? That's what the article said, the implementation agreement. The minister himself read it.
No, but they didn't say every successive government will now request new documentation.
But listen to me. If you want to say that this new government, have you sat down with them to say, this is what the previous administration submitted to us?
Our Minister of Transport just indicated to you there was a program here.
Verbal conversation, you want us to rely on verbal conversation? Okay, so listen, Minister, the committee required that particular letter. So just take note of it and please send that letter again. Let's go forward. Oh no, why you adjourn?
How you adjourn?
You're asking your question, I'll give you
I went to Barbara.
No, to the order of that letter. They had to submit that application.
As a condition precedent.
Yeah.
Why now we hold a thing until we come by New Year and we say, why? You part of it too? Now all of y'all.
So, again, how many towns and villages, if you say you did feasibility study, how many towns and villages will be affected in Liberia?
So, so we submitted copies of the ESRA and we brought extra copies to you. We did copies for every committee member We even brought extra copies.
Just bring it one, see, just bring it one.
No, we already brought copies.
No.
No, the ESI there? We brought copies.
So this document indicates those terms and conditions that we have.
Yes, in the ESI, the environmental social impact study.
But I say, I know what the feasibility study.
No, we did not say we No, I didn't say that.
You said it?
No, Senator, I want to
say, did you do feasibility study?
Yes.
So yeah.
After war.
Now you just gave us the document, you want us to go through it to tell you how many towns and villages will be affected. How many towns and villages do you know or you expect that will be affected? What's the resettlement benefit for those towns and villages?
So
what do you have in plan? What's your plan of
action? There's a town called Baba in Nimba County. The road Baba. Okay, Senator, I stand to be corrected. I'm not.
And you pronounce it well.
Baba. So the road will even go around the town. The road is not going through the town. The road bypasses the town because of the impact study that we did.
How many photos is Baba?
So, Senator, I've answered your question, and this road is on the rail corridor. The only town that is.
So, what's the plan? To move the town?
No, we went around the town. The road goes around the town.
Okay, so the train will be going around the town.
No, it's not train. It's a haulage road we're talking about.
The haulage road?
Yes. It is.
From Guinea to Kenya, Baba far away.
It is. So the whole I wish I had a map. I wish I had a map. I'll show you. It is. Maybe we'll have to.
So we need that information. So while you give us this, we will need you to come up with the resettlement plan so that we can.
They say you move the town people?
No, town will be affected.
We're not moving. It's not going to
the people. Town moving.
It's not going to the town. It's on the rail corridor.
So, from your assessment here, there's no town that will be affected.
Specifically, no. There's one town along the road. If I stand to be corrected, it's a small town across the road. Because of that, we went far. I think it's about 1 or 2. It's about quarter of a mile to half a mile around the town. Okay. It's on the rail corridor.
When I was small, you get back.
No, but small you get by is further. It's not on the rail corridor. Senator, look at the rail corridor. I wish the map were here to clearly show it.
So you remove the custom being there?
I know what custom being there. There's no custom being there. We're not moving people.
Why you are so concerned with the budget?
Because of the economic benefits, because of the employment benefits, and for.
So
they are going to be in the budget.
So no. Forever before, now.
So, considering of time, we will hold on. In case you are needed again, you'll be called upon. And don't forget, we need the RSOP so that they inform the committee on basically what we are passing. And the other document that we requested for you, we bring them. When you are done, you bring it to us. We need it.
It hasn't been approved yet. The RSOP, when it's done, it gets signed, go to the president, and the president sends it to you. But we have not completed the RSOP. We still, I told you last Thursday we had our last negotiation with AML for the RSOP. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, but we need
not completed yet.
Is the committee? Yeah.
Well, they're drafted.
So it says that you want us to do it for you, but your committee need it.
Senator,
Minister.
But you that RSOP comes before this.
Minister, what is your plan for the Ministry of Transport, the real department? What plan you have in stock to have them become part of the National Rail Authority? Is there a transitional plan? Because you, the real authority at the Ministry of Transport or department, will they be part of this? Or what transitional
but Senator, anytime you pass a law, there's a provision in that law that says that it detach this from this to that.
Okay.
And subsequently, the staff and the budget for that area gets moved to that.
When you enact or legislate the real authority, it will marry the section that is currently under his ministry. Because you repeal the MOT Act, detaching that rail section. I think you have assistant minister for rail.
Yes.
Yes. So it would not. So you will not have two entities coexisting to do the same thing.
Okay, so take note of your hearing. We want to say thank you for coming, and we make some requests of documents. We ask you to please bring those documents through so we can inform our report to plenary.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And police, with your consent, we can have the hearing closed. And Sergeant,
Should they carry the vote? Should they carry the vote? Yeah. Do I get put down? I'm coming straight to you. There's all the big document over there. Come on,